Chapter 1395. She scooped some sour plum soup out of the pot and decided to deliver it personally. Carrying the sour plum soup, she went to the third branch's room. Liang Jinxiao was not there. He must have gone to the fields to do something. Zhao Yun put the kettle on the table in the third branch's room and then went out of old Zhao's courtyard. The second branch's people saw Zhao Yun delivering something. Li Chuang muttered that Zhao Yun must have delivered something good again. She sneaked into the third branch's room. When she entered, she found a kettle delivered by Zhao Yun on the table in the third branch's room. She thought that the kettle must be filled with something good. Basically, the things delivered by Zhao Yun were not bad. Li Chuang looked behind her to make sure that no one was coming. She picked up the kettle, poured a cup, and drank. After tasting the food, Li Chuang immediately liked it. After drinking a cup, he murmured, "What kind of good stuff is this? How is it delicious?" Not only was it delicious, but after drinking it, Li Chuang felt much better. She was so tired from working just now that she sweated. Now, even the sweat was discharged. "Should I drink more?" Li Chuang muttered and couldn't help but want to drink more. Anyway, there was no one in the room now. Her third sister-in-law was not in the room. She wouldn't be found out if she drank more. It was a full pot. There was a lot of it. As long as there was half of it left, Liang Jinxiao would not ask Zhao Yun if she had sent a full pot or half a pot. Li Chuang held the cup and continued to pour a few more cups. She gulped down the tea into her stomach. After drinking, Li Chuang wiped her mouth and left the third branch's room with satisfaction. "Tianyu's mother!" Zhao Wenshui exclaimed in the room. Li Chuang rushed into the room and stood in front of Zhao Wenshui. She asked Zhao Wenshui, "Tianyu's father, what's wrong? Where did you go? You couldn't even call for help." Zhao Wenshui reprimanded angrily. "Tianyu's father, I'm going to do some work now. How could you call for me if I wasn't in the courtyard? Why are you looking for me?" Zhao Wenshui snorted and said to Li Chuang, "You woman, you don't care about your man. You haven't applied the ointment for me today. Are you hoping that I won't be able to get out of bed?" Li Chuang smiled embarrassedly and replied to Zhao Wenshui, "Tianyu's father, what are you talking about? How could I not want you to get out of bed? After you got injured, I had to do all the chores at home. I was so busy that I didn't forget to apply the ointment for you." Zhao Wenshui snorted and didn't believe Li Chuang. Li Chuang didn't continue to explain. She took out the ointment. "Come on, Tianyu's father. Raise your butt a little. I'll apply it for you." Zhao Wenshui cooperated and raised his butt a little. Li Chuang suddenly let out a loud burp because she drank too much of the sour plum soup. "Ha!" Zhao Wenshui turned around angrily and glanced at Li Chuang. He said to Li Chuang, "You woman, what were you doing just now? Still working? I think he must have secretly eaten something, right?" Chapter 1396. She replied guiltily, "Tianyu's father, what are you talking about? I didn't steal food. There's nothing delicious in our house for me to steal." Zhao Wenshui snorted, "You didn't? If you didn't, why don't you explain to me why you burped so loudly?" The corners of Li Chuang's mouth twitched slightly, and she seemed a little embarrassed. "Tianyu's father? I just burped. It's not a big deal. Really, I don't only burp when I eat. I also burp when I drink too much water. I just drank a little too much just now." Zhao Wenshui's large number of eyes looked up and down Li Chuang's body. He knew that this woman's words were not reliable. "Humph, I hope so. If not, you just wait and see," Zhao Wenshui warned. Li Chuang was a little scared and disappointed at the same time. This man of hers was becoming more and more unkind to her. Now he was lying on the bed unable to move, and she was the only one serving him. Why didn't he know how to talk about how good she was? She was not as good as Xianxia except for her appearance. Which part of her was inferior to Xianxia? The more Li Chuang thought about it, the more disappointed she felt in her heart. She sighed in her heart. Weren't women like this? If a woman didn't marry a good man, she could only suffer for the rest of her life. Since she was married, there was nothing she could do. In this life, she could only accept her fate. If she wanted to blame someone, she could only blame herself for being wrong. After Li Chuang wiped half of her butt, She suddenly felt a sharp pain in her stomach. Ouch, it hurts so much. I can't. Li Chuang covered her stomach and screamed. Zhao Wenshui glanced at his woman indifferently and replied unhappily, Woman, why are you screaming? What's wrong? Tianyu's father, my stomach suddenly hurts. Li Chuang said to Zhao Wenshui with an aggrieved face. Stomach ache? Zhao Wenshui frowned. You be asterisk Tisich, why do you have a stomachache? Humph, I think you must have eaten something good. Now you've eaten something bad, right? No, Tianyu's father. You're still so stubborn, stinky woman. You're eating delicious food but you don't know how to give it to your man. You only care about yourself. Why did I marry such a heartless woman? Li Chuang looked at Zhao Wenshui in disappointment. She still felt that she had married a heartless man. Zhao Wenshui actually said that to her. It really hurt her heart. Li Chuang was unhappy, so he didn't want to let Zhao Wenshui wipe the other half of Zhao Wenshui's butt. He said to Zhao Wenshui, Tianyu's father, haven't I treated you well? Feel your conscience and tell me that you wronged me when you went to find Widow Qian. I haven't even settled the score with you yet. Now you're saying that I'm heartless. Why don't you let that Widow Qian serve you? Let her wipe the ointment on your butt. With that, Li Chuang covered her stomach and walked out of the second branch's room. Zhao Wenshui shouted at Li Chuang, You be asterisk teeth, you're still throwing a tantrum. Come back quickly. I told you to come back. Did you hear me? You're disobedient. When my butt recovers, see if I don't get up and teach you a lesson when my butt recovers. Li Chuang didn't hear Zhao Wenshui's voice. She ran directly to the latrine and started to poop. Chapter 1397. Even though he had pooped a lot, his stomach still hurt badly. Li Chuang felt cold sweat coming out of his forehead. What happened to him? Why did his stomach hurt all of a sudden? That was so strange. Li Chuang thought for a while. He didn't eat anything except for the sour plum juice that Zhao Yuner brought over. Was there something wrong with Zhao Yuner's sour plum juice? Ouch, Li Chuang clutched her stomach, which felt like it was being twisted by a knife, and muttered in pain. If Li Chuang had known that his stomach hurt so much, he would never have drunk the sour plum juice that Zhao Yuner brought over. Dong dong dong. Li Chuang let out a loud fart, and then expelled a lot of dirty things from her stomach. After squatting in the latrine for a long time, his legs were numb and weak. However, Li Chuang could only continue squatting in his stomach. Zhao Wenshui was in the room. He thought Li Chuang was mad at him and ignored him on purpose. He continued to shout outside the room, Tianyu's mother, get in here right now. Why are you still gambling? Tianyu's mother, did you hear that? If you don't come in, I'll be mad. Tianyu's mother. After shouting for a while, he didn't hear Li Chuang's response. Zhao Wenshui grumbled unhappily, This damned woman is too much. I haven't even applied ointment on half of my butt and she's already leaving me hanging. Oh, my butt? When will it recover if this goes on? The other members of old Zhao's family didn't care about Zhao Wenshui's business. However, Hua Chunhua heard it. She walked into Zhao Wenshui's room and said to Zhao Wenshui unhappily, Wenshui, why are you shouting like a ghost? Really? Seeing Hua Chunhua come in, Zhao Wenshui thought that his butt was still outside, so he quickly pulled on his pants. Unfortunately, he couldn't do anything about it. Zhao Wenshui was lying on his stomach on the bed, so it was difficult for him to exert any strength. Therefore, Hua Chunhua saw Zhao Wenshui's butt. Seeing that Zhao Wenshui was in a hurry to pull up his pants, Hua Chunhua said faintly, Second brother, why are you covering up? Mother gave birth to you. Mother has seen your butt countless times since you were young. What's there to be embarrassed about in front of me? Zhao Wenshui blushed slightly as he muttered to Hua Chunhua, Mom, the past is the past, but the present is the present. Hua Chunhua rolled her eyes at Zhao Wenshui and said to Zhao Wenshui, What's wrong now? Did you forget about your mother after you got married? Now that your wife can see your butt, why can't your mother see it? Zhao Wenshui muttered, Mom, what are you talking about? It doesn't make sense at all. Fine. You were born in my belly. It's fine if you feel embarrassed in front of others, but you don't need to do that in front of me. Zhao Wenshui glanced at Hua Chunhua and didn't know how to respond to Hua Chunhua. If other men in the village knew that his mother had seen his butt, they would laugh at him. However, in his mother's eyes, it was nothing. Tell me, why are you calling me your wife? What's the matter? Speaking of that, Zhao Wenshui curled his lips. Mom, Tianyu's mother applied the ointment on my butt, and then she ran away. Hu Chunhua then glanced at Zhao Wenshui's butt. Where did she go? Chapter 1398. Hu Chunhua snorted. Your daughter-in-law is getting more and more unreasonable. Our old Zhao family is so unlucky to have her as our daughter-in-law. Put the ointment on your butt first, and I'll get even with that bitch later. Zhao Wenshui was scared when he heard that Hu Chunhua was going to put ointment on his butt. Mom, why are you helping me? Why don't you wait for Tianyu's mother to come back and help me? Hu Chunhua gave Zhao Wenshui a glance. You don't know how long you'll have to wait for her to come back. You can't leave the other half of your butt hanging, can you? Zhao Wenshui blushed and murmured, Mom, all right, don't be shy in front of me. Why are you so shy? You've forgotten your mom after you got married. You only know your daughter-in-law. Being scolded by Hu Chunhua, Zhao Wenshui had to listen to Hu Chunhua. However, Hu Chunhua's behavior made him feel a little strange. Luckily, no one saw it, or he would be too ashamed to face anyone. Hu Chunhua took the ointment and finished applying the rest of Zhao Wenshui's butt. She put the ointment away and said to Zhao Wenshui, Wenshui, you can have a good rest in the room. I'm going to find your shameless wife now. Zhao Wenshui nodded. Hu Chunhua walked out of the room angrily. She walked around for a while and searched the yard, but couldn't find Li Chuang. She shouted at Li Chuang, but didn't hear any response from Li Chuang, so she stood in the yard and cursed. That evil bitch better not be caught by me. If I catch her, I'll teach her a lesson. Don't come back if you dare. You don't even care about your own man. What kind of person is she? Hearing Hu Chunhua's cursing, Li Chuang couldn't help trembling. Her stomach still hurt, and she always wanted to poop. Every time it hurt for a while, she could only poop a little. It was worse than the usual stomachache. If she pulled up her pants now, she would definitely run to the toilet in less than a minute. However, Hu Chunhua was cursing fiercely in the courtyard. If she didn't go out now, she didn't know what kind of unpleasant words Hu Chunhua would scold. Li Chuang thought, and decided to go explain it to Hua before she came back to the toilet. I'm B. Hu Chunhua heard Li Chuang's voice in the yard. She frowned unhappily and continued to scold. People say that lazy people poop and pee a lot. That's what my second daughter-in-law is like. You've been in the toilet for so long. How much poop do you have to poop? Li Chuang felt wronged in the toilet. She curled her lips and said, Damn it, this old woman is so controlling. She can nag me for a long time even when I'm just taking a dump. What can I do if my stomach hurts? It's not like I want it. Although Li Chuang said that, she still got up. Unfortunately, because she had been squatting for a long time, her legs were numb and sore. She couldn't stand up at all. Li Chuang stood up with difficulty, but she lost her balance and fell into the manure vat. With a plop, the whole manure vat seemed to explode, and the things inside splashed out. What followed was a foul smell that she had never smelled before. Chapter 1399. Li Chuang waited for the liquid in the dung tank to enter her nostrils. Stimulated by the stench, Li Chuang suddenly realized what had happened to her. Li Chuang's face became extremely pale. Great, she accidentally fell into the manure tank and was covered with feces all over her body. It was even more disgusting than being splashed with feces by Zhao Yuna. How could she be like this? Li Chuang thought for a while in the manure tank, then wanted to climb out of the manure tank. Why don't I take a bath by the river for a few hours? I'm afraid that I can't get rid of the stench on my body. Li Chuang herself also began to dislike herself when she smelled the stench, not to mention the others who despised her. Anyway, she felt that she would be laughed at if she walked out like this. Li Chuang climbed out and found that the manure tank was a little big and a little deep. She tried to climb out, but she couldn't climb out. Instead, she kept falling back into the manure tank, splashing more feces and making the stench even stronger. She was in trouble now. Li Chuang wanted to cry, but had no tears. At the same time, she felt nauseous and wanted to vomit. There was nothing in her stomach except for the sour plum juice. She couldn't keep soaking in such a disgusting manure tank forever. At this time, Hua Chunhua was waiting in the yard. After waiting for a while, Li Chuang still didn't come out. She snorted with anger. Why is my second daughter-in-law still in the manure? How much did she eat? Why can't she finish it after such a long time? Bitch. She must have eaten a lot of good food secretly. After scolding, Hua Chunhua sniffed and smelled a stench in the air. Hua Chunhua continued to sniff and found that the stench was getting stronger. What the hell is going on? What is that bitch Li Chuang doing? I've never seen anyone poop so smelly. Everyone in the yard can smell it. The daughter-in-law of the first branch, Feng Xianxia, walked out of the room and also smelled the smell. She frowned and asked Hua Chunhua, "Mother, what's going on? Why is the yard so smelly?" Hua Chunhua snorted, "Why? It's all because of your second sister-in-law." "What did second sister-in-law do?" Feng Xianxia asked curiously. "She went to the manure tank and didn't come out for a long time." "That's fine. Look, how smelly is her poop. It's made the yard. If the neighbors were to see this, they would definitely laugh at them. It must be said that our Zhao family actually produced such a talent." Hearing Li Chuang's words, Feng Xianxia couldn't help laughing. Her mother's words were so funny. "Mom, I have a feeling that something is wrong. If my sister-in-law is using poop, it shouldn't be so smelly. Is something wrong?" Feng Xianxia muttered with confusion. Hearing Feng Xianxia's words, Hua Chunhua felt that it made sense. Could it be that her second daughter-in-law had an accident in the manure tank? "Let's go and have a look," Hua Chunhua said to Feng Xianxia. Chapter 1400. When they got together, they were shocked by the scene in front of their eyes. The whole cesspool seemed to have exploded, and Li Chuang was in the cesspool at this moment. No wonder there was a stinky smell in the yard. The cesspool must have been destroyed. It was strange that it didn't stink. Feng Xianxia couldn't help but pinch her nose. She couldn't stand the smell. Hua Chunhua didn't care about Li Chuang at first. Instead, she scolded Li Chuang right in her face. "Daughter-in-law, are you crazy? Look at what you've done. The cesspool exploded because of you, and the latrine is now in such a mess. How can our old Zhao family go to the latrine?" Li Chuang curled her lips. She was a little disappointed. Shouldn't she care about her first? Why did she scold her instead? It was just a cesspool. She was a big job. Wasn't it more important than a cesspool? The more Li Chuang thought about it, the more upset she felt. She complained to Hua Chunhua with dissatisfaction, I didn't do it on purpose. I accidentally fell into the cesspool. Who would do such a thing for no reason?" Hua Chunhua snorted. "You didn't do it on purpose. Only a stupid person would do such a thing. Ordinary people wouldn't do such a thing. Our old Zhao family is simply suffering from 8 lifetimes of bad luck. I married a B** like you." Seeing Li Chuang in such a miserable state, falling into the dung tank and being covered with feces, not to mention the stinky smell, and being scolded by Hua Chunhua, Feng Zhang felt a trace of pity for Li Chuang for the first time while he felt comfortable in his heart. After all, Li Chuang was indeed a little pitiful now. He defended Li Chuang in front of Hua Chunhua. "Mom, she didn't do it on purpose. Forget it. Don't scold her anymore." Hua Chunhua snorted. "I don't want to argue with this B** teach. If I argue with her every day, I'll die of anger." Feng Xianxia's lips twitched, and she smiled embarrassedly. "Mom, you're right," Hua Chunhua then said to Li Chuang in the cesspool. "Daughter-in-law, why are you still in the cesspool? Don't you feel disgusted and smelly?" Li Chuang looked at Hua Chunhua with grievance. "I want to get up, but I can't. I can't get up from the cesspool." Hua Chunhua looked at Li Chuang speechlessly. "You idiot. Daughter-in-law, help her out. If she keeps soaking in the cesspool, the stink won't go away. It'll be a few days." When Feng Xianxia heard that Hua Chunhua wanted her to help Li Chuang, she pouted unhappily. "You want me to help her?" She didn't want to do such a disgusting thing. Seeing that Li Chuang's hands and body were covered with feces, Feng Xianxia felt even more guilty in her heart. Hu Chunhua rolled her eyes at Feng Xianxia and said to her, "You don't say. Don't tell me you're counting on an old woman like me to help you?" Seeing that Hu Chunhua was unhappy, Feng Xianxia still felt embarrassed. Look, daughter-in-law is like this. If I help her, I'll be smelly too. Chapter 1401. When Feng Xianxia saw Hu Chunhua's unhappy face, she immediately explained, "Mother, what's more, I'm a woman. Even if I pull second sister-in-law, I might not be able to pull her up. I have to find a man to do it." Feng Xianxia's words made sense. But among the men in the house, the second son was lying on the bed with his buttocks swollen. It was impossible for him to come over and help Hu Chunhua, let alone the other men. Only the eldest son was at home. The others had all gone out to work. Hu Chunhua replied calmly, "Then you can ask eldest brother to come here." Feng Xianxia naturally wouldn't agree when she heard that the boss was called over. How could her man pull Li Chuang? Such a disgusting thing. Even if she moved her toes, her man wouldn't do it. Why do you always ask our family to help you? Why don't you ask other families to help you? You're such a woman. If you can't do it, just say it directly. Why are you wasting time talking about it? Go and see whether our fourth daughter-in-law and third daughter-in-law are back now. If they are, ask them to help second sister-in-law. When Feng Xianxia heard that this matter could be pushed to someone else, she ran towards the courtyard eagerly. At this time, Li Chuang, who was in the dung tank, was even more disappointed. She finally saw clearly what kind of people old Zhao's family was. Men were not good. They went out to find other women, and their mother-in-law protected their son. Not only that, they worked themselves to death every day, but they didn't get any praise. Anyway, they were all heartless. She was so miserable, but no one came to help her. It seemed that she was nothing in the eyes of these people. They probably wouldn't care even if she died. The more Li Chuang thought about it, the more disappointed she became. After Feng Xianxia ran to the yard, she was lucky. Qian Zhaodate and Liang Jinxiao came back together. Upon seeing the two of them, Feng Xianxia said excitedly, "Third sister-in-law, fourth sister-in-law, you're home. It's good that you're home." Seeing Feng Xianxia's anxious look, Liang Jinxiao asked, "Sister-in-law, what's wrong? Is something the matter?" Feng Xianxia patted her thigh and said, "Of course something big happened. You don't know that your sister-in-law fell into a cesspool." Upon hearing that Li Chuang had fallen into the cesspool, Qian Zhouzheng and Liang Jinxiao's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. They stared at each other for a while. How did he fall into the manure tank? One had to know that under normal circumstances, such a possibility simply did not exist. What kind of accident had happened? Feng Xianxia hurriedly called out to Qian Hongzhe and Liang Jinxiao. "What are you two waiting for? Hurry up and get your sister-in-law out of the water. Don't let her soak in the water for too long. She will stink." Only then did Qian Zhouzheng and Liang Jinxiao come back to their senses. They opened their mouths and hurriedly responded. Then they followed Feng Xianxia to the cesspool. When they arrived at the cesspool and saw the scene inside, Qian Zhouzheng and Liang Jinxiao were also shocked. They felt that Li Chuang was really too pitiful. Compared to Hu Chunhua and Feng Xianxia, Liang Jinxiao asked Li Chuang with concern, "Sister-in-law, how are you? Are you okay?" Chapter 1402. Li Chuang was very touched by Liang Jinxiao's and Qian Zhouzi's concern for her. The rest of old Zhao's family didn't care about her, but these two sisters-in-law were concerned about her. Li Chuang's nose twitched. She shook her head and said, "It's nothing serious. I'm just a little smelly. I can't get up from the dung." Liang Jinxiao stepped forward and said, "Second sister-in-law, let me help you up. It's not good for you to stay in the dung." Qian Zhouzi also stepped forward and said, "Yes, second sister-in-law, let us help you up." Li Chuang's nose twitched again. She was touched. Her second and third sisters-in-law were good people, unlike her eldest sister-in-law and her mother, who were both heartless. Li Chuang looked gratefully at Liang Jinxiao and Qian Zhouzi and said, "Third sister-in-law, fourth sister-in-law, thank you so much." Liang Jinxiao and Qian Zhouzi shook their heads and said, "It's nothing, second sister-in-law. It's what we should do. They couldn't just ignore Li Chuang and let her soak in the dung. After all, she was their sisters-in-law. They were family. They couldn't just leave her alone. Li Chuang was touched. She reached out her hand and handed it over. Liang Jinxiao and Qian Zhouzi pulled Li Chuang out of the dung. After they pulled Li Chuang out, Li Chuang sighed and said, "Third sister-in-law, fourth sister-in-law, you two are the only ones who don't despise me now." Liang Jinxiao and Qian Zhouzi both sighed. They felt that Li Chuang was very pitiful for falling into the dung. How could they despise Li Chuang? Liang Jinxiao comforted her, "Second sister-in-law, don't say any more. You have so much dung on you. It's best to go to the river and wash it. Otherwise, I'm afraid it won't be clean if you wash it at home." Qian Zhouzi agreed. "Yes, second sister-in-law. We don't have enough water at home. It'll be more convenient if you wash it at the river. You must be feeling uncomfortable now. You'll be fine after washing it. I'll get some locust for you. It'll be cleaner. After washing it, you'll smell good." Li Chuang nodded and said, "Okay." In fact, she was thinking the same thing too. Indeed, she couldn't wash it clean at home. Her man was lying on the bed and couldn't move. Who would carry this water for her? It would be better if she went to the river. And when Hua Chunhua saw Li Chuang climb out of the dung, she said in disgust, "Second sister-in-law, you should go to the river and wash it. The stench on you is too pungent. It'll kill you. You can't wash it at home. Otherwise, it'll make the house very smelly." "Yes, mother. Second sister-in-law has to go to the river and wash it properly. Dozens of basins of water at home won't be enough to wash it clean. If the dirty water is poured in the courtyard, it'll be too smelly." Although Hua Chunhua and Feng Xianxia were telling the truth, their words were very harsh to Li Chuang's ears. Li Chuang's heart sank for a moment, but she didn't say anything. After experiencing this incident, she understood too much. Men were not good people. Her mother-in-law and sister-in-law were also not good people. The only good things in old Zhao's family were the third and fourth concubines. Li Chuang felt a little guilty when she thought about what she had done to the third and fourth concubines. She was so muddle-headed that she couldn't recognize too many things. Chapter 1403. Qian Zuriu couldn't stand it any longer and said to Hua Chunhua, "Mother, don't scold second sister-in-law. She's feeling bad too." Hua Chunhua snorted in her heart. Qian Zuriu tugged at Li Chuang's hand and said to Li Chuang, "Second sister-in-law, let's go wash up by the river." Li Chuang was very touched and nodded in response, "Okay." The few sisters-in-law came out of the latrine together. Qian Zuriu took out some soap and handed it to Li Chuang. She said to Li Chuang, "Second sister-in-law, this soap is from my family. You can use it." Li Chuang took it and thanked her gratefully. "Fourth sister-in-law, thank you. I'll return the soap to you later." Qian Zuriu smiled and said, "Second sister-in-law, you don't have to be so polite with me. It's not a big deal. We're family. It's just a little soap. There's no need to be so calculative." Li Chuang shook his head and said, "That's not it. Fourth sister-in-law, it's the thought that counts. Although it's just a little thing, you can't be so casual. I'll definitely return it to you later." Seeing Li Chuang's insistence, Qian Zuriu couldn't say anything else. She nodded and said, "Okay, second sister-in-law. If you want to return it, then return it. It's okay if you don't." But just as Li Chuang was about to leave, Hua Chunhua and Feng Xianxia followed him to the courtyard. Hua Chunhua said to Li Chuang, "Second sister-in-law, you've ruined the latrine. When you're done, you have to come back and clean it up properly. It's so dirty now. How are the others going to use the latrine?" Hua Chunhua didn't have any sympathy for Li Chuang's situation. Now, not only did he not care about Li Chuang's situation, but he even said such words. This made Li Chuang even more bitterly disappointed. Faced with Hua Chunhua's slightly arrogant face, Li Chuang didn't have the energy or the mood to argue with Hua Chunhua. At the same time, she knew that she was indeed responsible for what had happened to the manure tank. She nodded and replied, "Mother, I understand. Good that you know. It's not that you haven't done anything good. Even the courtyard is smelly because of you. You really can't stay here any longer. Forget it, I'd better go inside. It's too smoky outside, Hua Chunhua said and went into the room. Li Chuang felt very uncomfortable when he saw the disgusted expression on her face. Forget it, forget it. Whatever this old woman said, she would do. Naturally, she wouldn't argue with her. She just felt stifled. Looking at Li Chuang's dejected expression, Qian Zhozhe and Liang Jinxiao went forward to comfort her. Liang Jinxiao said, "Second sister-in-law, go wash up by the river first. I'll help you clean the manure tank." Li Chuang naturally didn't want to trouble Liang Jinxiao to do this. She hurriedly waved her hand and said, "No, no, no, third sister-in-law, there's no need. How can I trouble you with such a dirty job? I'll do it myself." Liang Jinxiao smiled. "Second sister-in-law, it's okay. You'll be clean after you wash up later. If you come back to clean the manure tank, you'll get dirty again. After I'm done, I'll go wash up." Li Chuang felt that her eyes were a little hazy, as if tears were rolling in her eyes. She was too embarrassed to let Qian Zhozhe and Liang Jinxiao see her crying, so she hurriedly swallowed the tears back into her stomach. Chapter 1404. That's enough, second sister-in-law. Hurry up and go. But Li Chuang choked with sobs and hurried towards the river. After Li Chuang's figure disappeared from old Zhao's courtyard, Qian Zhuzhe went up to Liang Jinxiao and said to Liang Jinxiao, "Third sister-in-law, I feel that second sister-in-law is a little different today." Liang Jinxiao looked at Qian Zhuzhe in confusion and asked, "Different? Fourth sister-in-law, what do you think is different? Are you saying that second sister-in-law is covered in feces today?" Qian Zhuzhe hurriedly said, "No, no, no. Third sister-in-law, I'm not saying that second sister-in-law looks different. I just feel that second sister-in-law is different today." "Is she?" Liang Jinxiao pondered for a moment. Why didn't she notice anything different? "Third sister-in-law, don't you think that second sister-in-law is much more polite today? If it was in the past, she would definitely be very happy to help us. She would definitely not be courteous to us. But today, second sister-in-law is not only courteous to us, she even thanked us." Qian Zhuzhe muttered in front of Liang Jinxiao. Of course, the most important thing was that Li Chuang was not just saying it on the surface. She was being courteous to them from the bottom of her heart and thanked them. After Qian Zhuzhe said this, Liang Jinxiao felt that this was indeed the case. Not only that, Li Chuang did not speak much today and her expression was very different from usual. Liang Jinxiao sighed and said, "Fourth sister-in-law, do you think that second sister-in-law is in trouble? Otherwise, why would she fall into the latrine pit?" "I think so." Qian Zhuzhe nodded and replied, "But we can't ask her about it. If we ask second sister-in-law, she might be even sadder." "But let's not talk about it then." On the other hand, the moment Li Chuang walked out, a foul smell attracted the attention of many people. Walking in the village, it was inevitable to bump into some people. Many people laughed when they saw Li Chuang covered in feces. "Look, old Zhao's second daughter-in-law must have fallen into a cesspool. She's covered all over." After someone shouted, the people who wanted to join in the fun hurriedly came over and surrounded Li Chuang. "Oh my God, he's really covered in shit. This is the first time I've seen someone fall into a dung tank." "Ha! Are you blind? How could you fall into a dung tank?" "Yeah, that's too careless. What can we do?" "Most likely, he broke the deck and fell in." "That's not it. Sometimes, when people are unlucky, they will be like this. Everything they do will be unlucky. I think she's been rather miserable these days. Her man cheated on her with another woman, and now she's fallen into a dung tank. Sigh, if it were me with such bad luck, I would definitely get some yellow paper and incense sticks and go to the Temple of Earth to pray. I have to get rid of the bad luck." These people chattered incessantly, which made Li Chuang very annoyed. Hearing the discussions and ridicule of others, Li Chuang felt that his face was burning. Needless to say, after today, he would become the laughingstock of the village. Chapter 1405. The onlookers naturally ignored Li Chuang. They continued to cover their mouths and laugh. "Look at her. She fell into the latrine and didn't even let others say anything. If she can't do it, she shouldn't have come out. She came out and was seen by others. Why can't she let others say anything? That's right. Anyway, we all know. It's not a big deal if one more person sees it. It's rare for the village to see something interesting. Why can't we watch it? Facing these villagers, Li Chuang was speechless and helpless. Since these people wanted to see it, she would let them. Li Chuang rolled her eyes and said to the onlookers, "Fine, since you want to see it, I'll let you see it to your heart's content. Come closer and have a good look." Saying that, Li Chuang rushed to the onlookers. If they were far away, they would be able to see it. Now that they were close, they could smell the stench and risk being stained by Li Chuang's feces. When the onlookers saw Li Chuang rushing over, they were scared out of their wits and hurriedly ran away. Li Chuang snorted in her heart. These people were indeed despicable. They refused to listen to her and forced her to use a special method. Don't you want to see it? Then let's see it. Why are you running away in fear? Seriously, I didn't let you see it, but you insisted. Now I let you see it, but you don't want to see it. What do you want? Hearing Li Chuang's words, the onlookers frowned and said to Li Chuang, "Sister Li, don't you think you're disgusting? You're covered in feces. What should we do if you get dirty when you get close to us?" "Stinks. The smell is so strong that it stinks me to death." "Hey, it's the first time I've smelled something so stinky. Old Zhao's second daughter-in-law is so stinky, but she still dares to come to us. Is she afraid that others don't know how stinky she is?" "It must be." Li Chuang warned them coldly, "Don't talk nonsense. If I see any of you staring at me or talking about me, I'll go up to you and smoke you to death. By the way, I can't guarantee that I didn't dirty your clothes." Li Chuang finished his words. Many people shut their mouths in fear. No one wanted to be covered in feces by Li Chuang. Only a few gossipy women heard Li Chuang's words and said angrily, "Why is old Zhao's second daughter-in-law so unreasonable? Why can't she show us?" As soon as the man finished speaking, he saw Li Chuang rush over. The woman was so scared that she hurriedly ran away. After Li Chuang's words, no one dared to go up and say anything to Li Chuang. Let's go. Actually, there's nothing to see here." "Yeah, let's go." "Stop looking. There's nothing to see here." After Li Chuang's words, the onlookers didn't dare to continue watching. Crazy people were the scariest people these days, and they definitely couldn't be provoked. After the onlookers left, Li Chuang understood what had happened. Chapter 1406. Without the onlookers, Li Chuang felt better and continued to walk forward. Soon, they arrived at the riverside. At this time, there were many people washing by the riverside. Zhao Yun was also there. Seeing Li Chuang walking over with feces all over her body, Zhao Yun couldn't help but want to laugh. What exactly had his second aunt experienced? She looked so pitiful. However, in Zhao Yun's opinion, Li Chuang was not a good person. She didn't have any pity for Li Chuang's experience. Zhao Yun guessed that it was most likely Li Chuang's own death. The fact was similar to Zhao Yun's guess. Li Chuang also realized that her stomach was in pain. She had diarrhea like this. It may be because she stole the third branch's sour plum soup. That soup was cold. It was easy to have diarrhea after drinking too much. Li Chuang was very regretful. Not only had she done something wrong to her third sister-in-law, but she had also caused trouble for herself. Now that she thought about it, it was God's punishment for her. In the future, even if she did this kind of thing, she would never harm the third branch or the fourth branch. She would only target the other heartless people in old Zhao's family. After arriving at the riverside, Zhao Yun just watched the show quietly. The women washing by the riverside had already started to talk about it. "Look, what happened to old Zhao's daughter-in-law? Yeah, why is she covered in feces? She must have fallen into the feces vat. It's the first time I've heard of someone falling into a feces vat. It's so funny. I guess we'll laugh for a long time. It's the first time I've seen such a thing. How stupid can she be to fall into a feces vat? I don't know. But looking at her, she'll become famous in our village. Maybe it will spread to other villages." As the saying goes, good news never stays hidden, but bad news travels for 1,000 miles. Later on, old Zhao's second daughter-in-law will definitely be famous within a radius of a few hundred miles. Li Chuang's mouth twitched when she heard the women's laughter. The louder they laughed, the angrier she got. It was a pity that their mouths were grown on other people's mouths, and these people didn't gather in front of her to look at her, so she couldn't make a fuss. Li Chuang's face darkened. He decided to ignore these people. The most important thing was to wash her body clean. Her body was so smelly that she almost couldn't take it anymore. Li Chuang's indifferent reaction made these people feel very bored. What they wanted to see was naturally Li Chuang's embarrassed and vexed expression. The closer Li Chuang got to the river, the more these people covered their noses and said, "It stinks, it stinks." The closer they get to us, the stronger the smell. We can't be smothered. Li Chuang, what do you want to do? Why do you have to walk towards us? Don't you know you stink? Seriously. How can she walk towards us and scold us? If we hide at home, we won't come out. Li Chuang, don't come here. What are you doing here? Go away, go away. Li Chuang was urged by several women in disgust. Chapter 1407. Hearing that Li Chuang was going to take a bath, the women by the river couldn't stay calm. If Li Chuang was going to take a bath under normal circumstances, it wouldn't be a big deal. However, in this situation, the water by the river would be smelly after taking a bath. They were either washing clothes or vegetables. What would they do if the water got dirty? The women by the river stopped Li Chuang and argued with Li Chuang. Li Chuang, you can't take a bath in the river. Exactly. If the water gets dirty, where can we go to take a bath? Li Chuang, this river doesn't belong to only you. If you want to take a bath, go somewhere else. We still have to wash clothes and vegetables. You can't just think about yourself and ignore the rest of us. She was stopped by the women by the river, who didn't allow her to go forward. Li Chuang realized that it wasn't a good idea for her to do so. In addition, the women's cold words and obstruction made Li Chuang give up. If they didn't allow her to take a bath here, she could just go downstream. If she went downstream, it wouldn't affect anyone, so they wouldn't say anything. Then I'll go downstream. Li Chuang murmured, then turned around and left. Li Chuang's back looked lonely, and Li Chuang, who was covered in feces, looked very embarrassed. For some reason, Zhao Yun suddenly felt that Li Chuang was very pitiful. She even sympathized with her. Most importantly, Zhao Yun found that Li Chuang seemed to be different from before. According to Li Chuang's character, shouldn't she argue with these women? Why was she suddenly so nice today? After Li Chuang's back disappeared, the women began to talk about it again. Well, Li Chuang is honest and sensible. If she didn't know what's good for her, I would definitely teach her a lesson. How can she not know what's good for her? It's embarrassing for her. How can she dare to be dishonest? That's true. Since she has done something embarrassing, she shouldn't have come out to make a fool of herself. Of course, if it were us, we wouldn't say anything either. After washing her hands, Zhao Yun didn't continue to listen to the other women's discussion. She took the wooden basin back. Li Chuang went downstream to the river, took off her clothes, and washed them carefully. Luckily, there was no one else downstream, so she didn't have to worry about her naked body. As soon as she took off her clothes, the disgusting smell became stronger. Li Chuang couldn't help but feel a little nauseous. Li Chuang hurriedly floated her clothes in the water. When there was less dirt on them, she rubbed them with her hands and poured some soap on them. The most difficult thing to wash was her own body. She had to wash it thoroughly from top to bottom. She applied a lot of soap and rubbed her clothes repeatedly in the water, but there was still the smell of feces. Li Chuang could only sigh. She estimated that she couldn't wash herself clean. This kind of smell could only be removed after a few days. After washing for about an hour, Li Chuang almost used up all the strength in her body. She slowly climbed out of the water. When she turned around, she found a man staring at her on the shore. Everyone in the village knew this man. He was Lu San. Chapter 1408. You shameless man. How dare you peek at me bathing? I'm going to gouge your eyes out. But Li Chuang spat on the ground as she spoke. Lu San glanced at Li Chuang indifferently and said to Li Chuang, "So what? I didn't come over to see you on purpose. Why don't you take a look at yourself? Who wants to see you?" He had already seen her, and now he said such sarcastic words. Li Chuang was furious. This Lu San was simply taking advantage of her. Then why are you still looking? Shameless man, aren't you afraid of being scolded? Being scolded by Li Chuang, Lu San also lost his temper. You bitch, are you done yet? I think you're ringying. With such a face, which man would like you? Lu San's words pierced Li Chuang's heart. Wasn't her man looking for Widow Qian because she wasn't good-looking? If she was good-looking, it would not be like this. Li Chuang's face revealed a trace of sadness, but Lu San continued to coldly snort and said, "It's simply an eyesore. Now that I've seen it, I feel disgusted. It's better to go look at other little beauties." With that, Lu San prepared to leave. Li Chuang grabbed Lu San very unhappily and said to Lu San, "What are you talking about? You took advantage of her and now you're saying you're the one who suffered losses? What do you want? Hurry up and let go of me, or I won't be polite to you." Li Chuang put her hands on her waist and stared at Lu San angrily. "Won't be polite? Tell me, how are you going to be rude to me? Stinky man, you're shameless. Hey, you're being unreasonable, bitch. I'm giving you face, but you don't want it. Fine, I'll teach you a lesson today. Let's see if you still dare to talk nonsense." With that, Lu San raised his fist and swung it in Li Chuang's direction. Just as Li Chuang was about to dodge, a man suddenly rushed out of the woods. A man hitting a woman. "Where's your face?" A deep and hoarse voice said. Li Chuang's heart trembled slightly. She looked up and glanced at the man who came. He grabbed Lu San's hand with one hand. In front of him, Lu San had no strength to refute at all. Grabbing Lu San was no different from grabbing a chicken. The reason why the man was so strong was because he was tall and sturdy. His curled arms were full of muscles and had a strong sense of strength. This kind of man is strong. Li Chuang sighed in her heart. Li Chuang knew the man who helped Li Chuang. He was Zhao Ping, a bachelor in the village. His ancestors were from the same sect as old Zhao's family. Because his family was poor, he didn't have any land and his house was shabby, so he couldn't get a wife. What he did on a daily basis was hard work. He exerted his strength and developed a body full of muscles. Lu San said to Zhao Ping with displeasure, "It's my business. Mind your own business." Saying that, Lu San continued to struggle. It was a pity that Lu San did not work much and often liked to do things in bed. His body had long been hollowed out and his physique was not good at all. Against Zhao Ping, he could not struggle at all and let Zhao Ping hold him in his hands. "Let go of me right now," Lu San said in anger. "You can't. You bully a woman casually. I won't let you go unless you promise not to hurt her." Zhao Ping pointed at Li Chuang. Chapter 1409. "I promise you, okay? Let go of me." Zhao Ping snorted softly and shook off Lu San's hand. Lu San was thrown out heavily. He staggered and glanced at Zhao Ping unwillingly. Then he turned around and left. He knew that if an egg smashed a rock, the rock would break. Naturally, he wouldn't touch it again. Seeing Lu San leave in a sorry state, Li Chuang breathed a sigh of relief. Although she didn't argue with Lu San, at least she didn't have to be bullied by Lu San. "Are you okay?" Zhao Ping asked Li Chuang with concern. Li Chuang looked at the tall and burly Zhao Ping and felt very touched. She shook her head and said with a smile, "I'm fine." For so long, there were very few people who helped and protected her. She didn't expect Zhao Ping, who didn't interact much with her, to help her. That's good. As a woman, you should be careful. Next time, don't get involved with Lu San. That man is not to be trifled with. Got it. Thank you for the reminder. Zhao Ping shook his head. You're welcome. I'll leave first. Okay. Looking at Zhao Ping's back, Li Chuang couldn't help but sigh. If only her man could be as good as Zhao Ping. Unfortunately, Zhao Wenshui was definitely not half as good as Zhao Ping. Li Chuang let out a sigh and went back. Seeing Li Chuang come back, Liang Jinxiao came up and said to Li Chuang, "Second sister-in-law, are you okay?" Li Chuang shook her head and said, "I'm fine. I'm done washing up." "Okay, I've also cleaned up the latrine for you. Now go change your clothes. You can't be wet. You'll catch a cold." Looking at Liang Jinxiao's concerned eyes, Li Chuang's nose twitched and said, "Okay, I'll go change now. Third sister-in-law, thank you so much this time. You've worked hard." "All right, second sister-in-law, don't be so courteous with me. Hurry up and change your clothes." Li Chuang nodded. Just as she was about to go in and change, she suddenly thought of something. She stopped in her tracks and stopped. "What's wrong, second sister-in-law?" "Third sister-in-law, I have something to say to you." Liang Jinxiao smiled and said, "Second sister-in-law, if you have something to say, just say it." Li Chuang held Liang Jinxiao's hand and sighed. Third sister-in-law, second sister-in-law was muddle-headed in the past and didn't understand many things. Now that I've thought it through, I know who's not nice to me. Third sister-in-law, second sister-in-law used to make things difficult for you. Don't take it to heart. Second sister-in-law won't do it again in the future. Hearing Li Chuang's words, Liang Jinxiao couldn't help but feel a little strange, but more than that, he was shocked and couldn't believe it. If someone else had said this, it would have been normal. But Li Chuang really didn't sound normal. But when he met Li Chuang's eyes, he saw that they were very sincere. "Second sister-in-law, what are you talking about? Let the past be the past. People should look forward." "Yes, yes." Li Chuang nodded vigorously and responded. Then, she returned to the second branch's room. Liang Jinxiao looked at Li Chuang's back view and muttered in his heart. It seemed that his second sister-in-law was really starting to change for the better. It was naturally a good thing that Li Chuang could change for the better. Originally, relatives should help each other more and not bicker and fuss over every little thing. Chapter 1410. No one would have thought that Li Chuang's change was because of a tank of dung. It was ridiculous and sad. Liang Jinxiao shook her head and the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. She then followed him into her room. As soon as Li Chuang returned to the second branch's room, Zhao Wenshui scolded Li Chuang, "You stinky woman, you have guts. You dare to leave your husband hanging and not listen to him. Your skin is too thick. You need to be taught a lesson, right?" If it had been before, Li Chuang might have humbled herself in front of Zhao Wenshui and coaxed Zhao Wenshui. Now, she thought it through. Why should she treat Zhao Wenshui well in front of such a heartless man? He then replied to Zhao Wenshui indifferently, "Zhao Wenshui, you have to act with some conscience. How can you have the nerve to say such things? Why should I listen to you?" Hearing Li Chuang's reply, Zhao Wenshui lost his temper. "Fine. Are you trying to piss me off? I'm your husband. Why don't you listen to me? Which woman in the village doesn't listen to her husband? Don't tell me you're the exception?" Li Chuang was also unconvinced. "Zhao Wenshui, my husband is a man. Are you the same? Ask yourself, are you worthy of me for what you've done?" Zhao Wenshui understood that Li Chuang was referring to his affair with Widow Qian, so he grumbled unhappily, "So what? It's normal for a man to sleep with a woman. Didn't I sleep with Widow Qian? Don't people go to brothels to visit prostitutes? At least I didn't do that." Li Chuang snorted. She didn't know why Zhao Wenshui dared to say that. If it were her, she would never say that. "Zhao Wenshui, you don't have money. If you did, you would sleep with women in brothels too. I really misjudged you, that's why I married you back then." Zhao Wenshui was infuriated by Li Chuang's words. What was this bitch talking about? "Li Chuang, who do you think you are? If you don't listen to me and talk to me like that, I'll divorce you." Zhao Wenshui thought that his words could scare Li Chuang. Unfortunately, to Zhao Wenshui's disappointment, Li Chuang replied with disdain. "Fine, Zhao Wenshui. I'm a woman. I'm afraid that I won't be able to get married again, but you. Let's see who will serve you without me. Let's see if your mother is willing to spend money to marry another wife for you." Zhao Wenshui was speechless after being scolded by Li Chuing. Without a doubt, Li Chuing was right. Without Li Chuing, there would be no one to serve him. As for his mother, money was extremely important. If he asked his mother to spend money to marry him, then forget it. He couldn't count on her at all. Zhao Wenshui couldn't help but look at Li Chuing again. He was puzzled. When did his wife become so smart? It wasn't easy for her to think of this. Seeing that Zhao Wenshui was silent, Li Chuing didn't continue to talk to Zhao Wenshui. She opened the closet and found a set of clean clothes to change into. On the other side, Zhao Yun saw a carriage parked in front of her house after she returned with the wooden basin. Chapter 14:11. Why did this fellow come to her place? Zhao Yun'er walked over. Helianchen was already in Zhao Yun'er's rundown house, and Mu Lianfeng was attending to him at the side. In the house, Helianchen sat in front of the table, holding a bowl and drinking from it. As he drank, he praised Mu Lianfeng. "Ah Feng, don't say, this thing is really delicious." Mu Lianfeng's lips curled into a smile as he explained to Mu Lianfeng, "Yun'er made it." "I knew it. Miss Yun'er has a lot of ideas and can always make unexpected things. We can't buy these novel foods even if we spend money." "Yes." Mu Lianfeng was even happier when he heard Helianchen praise Zhao Yun'er than when Helianchen praised him. "Hee, Ah Feng, you're really lucky. You've eaten a lot of good things by Miss Yun'er's side, right?" Helianchen looked at Mu Lianfeng with envy. Mu Lianfeng raised his eyebrows and said with a smile, "What do you think?" "I think so. Ah Feng, it's not that I want to say this, but if I marry a woman like Miss Yun'er in the future, I'll be overjoyed," Helianchen muttered. Mu Lianfeng curled his lips and replied indifferently, "This kind of fortune isn't something that everyone can get, so you can only think about it." Helianchen glared angrily at Mu Lianfeng and said to Mu Lianfeng, "Ah Feng, can't you speak properly? Do you have to make people sad before you're happy?" Mu Lianfeng held back his laughter and didn't say anything else. Helianchen swallowed the bowl of sour plum soup and begged Mu Lianfeng, "Ah Feng, look, I've already finished it." Mu Lianfeng replied faintly. "Feng, can you help me get some more?" Mu Lianfeng frowned and said to Helianchen, "You've already drunk 2 bowls. You can't drink any more. If you drink any more, you'll have a stomachache." However, Helianchen did not think so. "Ah Feng, don't lie to me. It's hard to say if my stomach is upset or not. My stomach is good, so it's fine to eat cold things. I think you're saying that because you can't bear to let me drink it, right?" Mu Lianfeng looked at Helianchen speechlessly. How heartless did he have to be to say such things? Moreover, Helianchen was already an adult, but he was like a child and was extremely greedy. Mu Lianfeng wanted to laugh at Helianchen, but he also felt very helpless. "Ah Chin, there's a saying that goes enough is enough. Don't you understand? Ah Feng, don't be so stingy. Give me another bowl." Mu Lianfeng looked at Helianchen acting coquettishly and could not help but say, "How old are you? This has nothing to do with age. Who said that you have to keep your mouth shut when you're old?" Mu Lianfeng realized that he could not continue to communicate with Helianchen. Helianchen shamelessly continued to tug at Mu Lianfeng's sleeve and begged, "Ah Feng, I definitely won't be able to drink it when I go back. How about this? Give me another bowl. If I drink another bowl, I promise I won't drink it again." Looking into Helianchen's pleading eyes, Mu Lianfeng rolled his eyes at Helianchen and said to Helianchen, "Ah Chin, you said the same thing just now. Do you think I'll believe you?" Helianchen felt very embarrassed after being exposed by Mu Lianfeng. Chapter 14:12. Mu Lianfeng felt a little wronged. Heartless people were like this. Those with a conscience would definitely not say such things. "All right, you can say whatever you want. I don't care." "You?" Helianchen glared at Mu Lianfeng angrily and continued to mutter that Mu Lianfeng was too petty. Zhao Yun could not help but shake her head when she saw Helianchen's appearance. When a man acted coquettishly, he was even more powerful than a woman. Zhao Yun could not stand Helianchen's tone when he spoke to Mu Lianfeng. Fortunately, Helianchen was a man. If He Lianchen was a woman, she would definitely not let Mu Lianfeng and He Lianchen have too much contact. After all, women who acted coquettishly were the scariest. Men were easily charmed by women who acted coquettishly. Zhao Yu walked into the house and smiled at Mu Lianfeng. Since she wants to drink, you can give it to her. It's not like our house doesn't have it. When He Lianchen saw Zhao Yun come in, he said with a smile, Miss Yun is back. Zhao Yun nodded lightly and responded. He Lianchen hurriedly said, Feng, look, Miss Yun is still the best. She's not as petty as you. The corner of Mu Lianfeng's mouth twitched. He should not have been soft-hearted and cared about He Lianchen's life and death. So he said, since you want to eat, you can eat. I won't stop you. But if your stomach hurts, don't blame me for not reminding you. He Lianchen hurriedly nodded and replied, I know. Other people have stomach aches, but I won't. Mu Lianfeng was speechless. A dead pig was not afraid of boiling water. This He Lianchen probably would not listen no matter what he said. Since that was the case, then forget it. If he said too much, it would only make people despise him. Why should he do such a thing? Well, since you said so, then go ahead and drink. Mu Lianfeng said helplessly. Zhao Yun took the bowl that He Lianchen had drunk from and said to He Lianchen, I'll go get it. He Lianchen was flattered as he looked at Zhao Yun. He immediately nodded and said, Sure. Thank you, Miss Yun. Zhao Yun shook her head, the corner of her mouth slightly raised, and said with a smile, You're welcome. Since they said that Mu Lianfeng had no conscience, then let He Lianchen drink more. When the time came for her stomach to hurt, she would know who was the heartless one. Mu Lianfeng caught a hint of craftiness in Zhao Yun's eyes and understood that Zhao Yun probably had some bad intentions again. Sometimes, his Yun still made people feel that she was very cute when she was up to mischief. Zhao Yun quickly scooped a bowl of sour plum soup and placed it on the table, beckoning He Lianchen to drink. He Lianchen's face was filled with unconcealable excitement and happiness. He held the sour plum soup that Zhao Yun gave him and drank it happily. Seeing this, Zhao Yun's smile became even brighter. Drink. You'll probably have a stomachache soon. She specially added a few more ice cubes. After He Lianchen finished the bowl of sour plum soup, he licked the corner of his mouth as if he had not had enough and used his long sleeve to wipe the corner of his mouth. Miss Yun, this is delicious. He Lianchen exclaimed with a smile in front of Mu Lianfeng. Young Master He Lian, do you still want a drink? Do you want me to scoop some more for you? Zhao Yun's enthusiasm and politeness made He Lianchen a little embarrassed. Chapter 1413. He Lianchen looked at Mu Lianfeng and asked for Mu Lianfeng's opinion, as if he was afraid that Mu Lianfeng would not agree. If it was just now, Mu Lianfeng would probably stop He Lianchen. After knowing Zhao Yun's intention, he replied indifferently, If you want to drink, then drink. I won't really stop you and not let you drink. He Lianchen laughed cheekily and said, Feng, it's good that you said that. If you don't allow it, I definitely won't drink it. Mu Lianfeng's mouth twitched. This guy, who was he trying to fool? Probably only a ghost would believe him if he said this, right? Alright. So much nonsense. How can I not know what you're thinking? He Lianchen felt like he was seen through by Mu Lianfeng. This friend who grew up with him was different. He could fool anyone, but he could not fool Mu Lianfeng. He Lianchen hurriedly handed the bowl to Zhao Yun, and said to Zhao Yun, Miss Yun, I'll have to trouble you to get me another bowl. Zhao Yun said with a smile, It's fine. You can drink as many bowls as you want. Anyway, I have a lot at home and can't finish it. With Zhao Yun's words and Mu Lianfeng's agreement, He Lianchen prepared to drink without worry. Very quickly, Zhao Yun got another bowl for He Lianchen. He Lianchen gulped and drank the big bowl. Seeing that He Lianchen finished drinking, Zhao Yun continued to fill He Lianchen's bowl. After He Lianchen drank 3 more bowls, he let out a loud burp and could not drink anymore. I'm full, I'm satisfied. Miss Yun, you don't have to buy more for me. Thank you so much. You're welcome. It's fine as long as you're done drinking. Our family doesn't lack this stuff. If young Master Helion wants to drink it, we'll definitely give it to young Master Helion. Otherwise, wouldn't young Master Helion say that we're too stingy? We can't even bear to part with such a small thing. Helion smiled embarrassedly. That won't happen. I know that Miss Yuner is very generous. At least, she's much more generous than Ah Feng. Zhao Yun also smiled faintly. She felt that Helion appearance was a little cute. Well, since you finished drinking and Yun is back, you can tell me why you're here today. Mu Lianfeng said. Helion patted his head and finally remembered. Indeed, he should get down to business. After being interrupted, he immediately forgot the purpose of his visit today. Thus, he hurriedly gestured for Zhao Yuner to sit down and said to Zhao Yuner, Miss Yuner, please take a seat. Zhao Yuner nodded. After sitting down, she said to Helion, Young Master Helen, what's the matter? Miss Yuner, I drank your tea last time and felt that it was very good, so I wanted to ask if you're still selling this tea? Zhao Yuner nodded and replied, Of course I'm buying it. Then how much do you have here? How much does young Master Helion want? I'll take as much as you have. Zhao Yuner raised her brows. After staring at Helion, she said to Helion, Young Master Helion, are you drinking it for yourself? If you're drinking it for yourself, you shouldn't need much, right? Zhao Yuner hit the nail on the head. Helion smiled and said, To be honest, Miss Yuner, I naturally won't drink this tea alone. I just feel that this is a good thing and want to give it to someone as a gift. Miss Yuner also knows that the rarer something is, the more precious it is. It's precisely those things that others haven't seen before that appear very precious. Chapter 14:14. Young Master Helion, if you drink it alone, I can give you some. But if you give it away everywhere, I'm afraid that I don't have enough tea leaves for you. Hearing Zhao Yun's words, Helion eyes revealed a trace of disappointment. He lamented to Zhao Yun, Miss Yun, why don't you have more of such good stuff? Can't you get more? Zhao Yun also said helplessly, I want more, but unfortunately I can't. There's nothing I can do. All right then, Miss Yun, then I won't give it away. I'll drink it myself. Zhao Yun nodded. All right, I can give you 2 caddies. Drink it sparingly. It should be enough to drink for a while. Just 2 caddies. Miss Yun, can you give me more? Helion stared at Zhao Yun with pleading eyes and blinked. Zhao Yun chuckled, Young Master Helion, I'll give you 2 caddies. It's already a lot. The other customers are also waiting for it. What she needed to do now was to expand the market. The goods in her hands would definitely not be distributed to just one person. There were so many customers waiting. She could not let them wait forever. All right then. Helion disappointed expression made one's heart ache. Zhao Yun curled her lips helplessly. She had no choice. She could only do this now. When the tea leaves planted on her barren mountain could be harvested, the amount of tea leaves produced would naturally be more. Young Master Helion, I'll go get it for you. Zhao Yun said and took out 2 caddies. She directly put them in a bag and handed it to Helion. Young Master Helion, these tea leaves can be placed in a dry place. Don't let them get wet. Got it, Miss Yun. There's one more thing I want to discuss with you. Zhao Yun looked at Helion with some confusion and said, Young Master Helion, what else do you want? Miss Yun, there's still some sour plum soup left in your house. Can I bring some back? After Helion finished speaking, he suddenly felt that he had drunk enough. If he were to ask Zhao Yun to bring some back for him, it would seem a little unkind. He hurriedly corrected himself, Miss Yun, this is a rare thing. You don't have to give it to me for free. I will pay for it. I don't care how much it costs. Since young Master Helion likes to drink it, I'll pack some for you. You don't have to pay. After all, you are Mu Lianfeng's friend, so if I haggle over such a small matter with you, wouldn't it make me seem too petty? Helion smiled. Miss Yun can't say that. Although I'm Ah Feng's friend, the things you have here are all good and not ordinary. Since Yun says so, I won't charge you for today's sour plum soup. If you want to drink it in the future, I'll give you 50 copper coins for a pot of sour plum soup. 50 copper coins was not a small amount, But for such a rare thing, the price was not very expensive. If she went out to buy it in the future, it would be the same price. To the rich Xianxia, 50 copper coins was even less of a problem. Xianxia nodded and agreed without hesitation. Then we'll do as Miss Yuner says. All right then. Zhao Yuner readily entered the kitchen and filled a pot for Xianxia. After dividing it up, there was only a little bit left in the large pot of sour plum soup. At night, their family could settle it by drinking a small bowl each. Xianxia, who received the sour plum soup, was very happy. Chapter 14:15. In this kind of weather, the Helian residents had already made some ice to make some iced meals. Not long after Xianxia took the sour plum soup from Zhao Yuna, he felt a sharp pain in his stomach. Zhao Yuna hurriedly asked, "Young Master Helian, what's wrong?" Mu Lianfeng also glanced at Xianxia. Seeing that Xianxia's expression was a little distorted, he said, "Ah Qin, is your stomach hurting?" Although this was the truth, Xianxia thought about how Mu Lianfeng advised him not to drink too much just now, but he said those words. Now that the truth was like this, it was a slap to his face for what he said just now. His face flushed slightly. Xianxia felt a little embarrassed. For his own face, even if his stomach hurt, Xianxia still pretended that nothing was wrong. He said to Mu Lianfeng, No, Ah Feng, what are you talking about? I just drank too much and felt uncomfortable." However, Mu Lianfeng did not believe Xianxia's words. He said with a faint smile, "Is that so? Of course. All right, since your stomach doesn't hurt, then it's fine." Mu Lianfeng glanced at Xianxia. His gaze seemed to have a deeper meaning. Zhao Yuner also pursed her lips and snickered. She knew that Xianxia was trying to be brave. It was probably the sour plum soup that he drank into his stomach that caused Xianxia to have a stomachache. Xianxia controlled the expression on his face and tried his best to hold it in. Unfortunately, his stomach was still very noisy. That sharp pain caused Xianxia's forehead to break out in cold sweat. When Mu Lianfeng saw this, he asked Xianxia with concern, "Ah Qin, your face is covered in sweat. Why is it so hot?" Xianxia touched his forehead. There was indeed quite a lot of sweat. He smiled awkwardly at Mu Lianfeng and said, "Ah Feng, I'm too hot. This weather is really hot to the point of death. Look, there are so many sweat beads on my forehead because of the heat." "Is that so?" "Of course, the weather is really getting hotter and hotter." Xianxia muttered to himself. Seeing Xianxia like this, Mu Lianfeng did not continue to say anything. Xianxia could not hold it in anymore. He said goodbye to Mu Lianfeng. "Ah Feng, it's getting late. I'll go back first. I'll come and see you next time when I have time." Just as Xianxia wanted to rush out, Zhao Yuner pulled Xianxia and said, "Qin, it's only been a short while and you're in a hurry to go back. It's not easy for you to come. What do you mean you don't want to stay? Why don't we leave after dinner? That way, we can have a good chat." Xianxia looked at Mu Lianfeng with a bitter face and said to him, "Feng, although I want to chat with you for a while longer, I'm afraid that it will be too late after dinner. It won't be convenient for me to go back." Mu Lianfeng ignored Xianxia's refusal and chuckled. "Then don't eat dinner. You can always sit for a while more." Xianxia furrowed his brows. There was a feeling of suffering that he could not describe. "Feng, let's talk about it next time. Don't tell me you have something urgent?" After asking, Mu Lianfeng muttered to himself again, "I don't think so. If you had something urgent, you wouldn't have come today. Continue to sit for a while more. Don't be in a hurry to leave." Chapter 14:16. All right, you don't have to say any more. Stay a little longer." When Xianxia saw that Mu Lianfeng and Zhao Yun were echoing each other, Xianxia could not refuse at all. He could only nod and say, all right, then I'll stay a little longer before leaving." Although Xianxia stayed, sitting on the chair was as if he was doing acupuncture. It was abnormally uncomfortable. His stomach was tossing and turning. He simply felt like he was better off dead. However, on the surface, he pretended that nothing had happened. Xianxia was very tired in his heart. At the same time, he was very regretful. Why did he not listen to Mu Lianfeng's words? If he had listened to Mu Lianfeng, it would definitely not have led to such a situation and end up like this. After his stomach hurt for a while, He Lianchen realized that he wanted to sh*t. What am I going to do now? He could still barely endure the pain, but if he wanted to sh*t, there was no way he could hold it in at all. He Lianchen sat on the stool and rubbed his butt. In order to hold the thing in his stomach back, he could only clamp it into his anus. Mu Lianfeng and He Lianchen chatted intermittently. However, He Lianchen did not listen to Mu Lianfeng's words at all and answered intermittently. Seeing that He Lianchen was absent-minded, Mu Lianfeng knew that He Lianchen must be feeling very uncomfortable holding it in. He smiled and said to He Lianchen, "Ah Chen, you look very uncomfortable." He Lianchen met Mu Lianfeng's probing eyes and replied nervously, "Is that so?" "Of course, I'm fine." He Lianchen was still very stubborn. As soon as he said this, his anus could not hold it in anymore and let out a loud fart. An unpleasant smell suddenly came from the room, and even the air became silent. Zhao Yun and Mu Lianfeng hurriedly covered their noses. He Lianchen, on the other hand, seemed very embarrassed. Most of the time, they felt embarrassed. Seeing He Lianchen's embarrassed look, Mu Lianfeng could only say, "Ah Chen, if your stomach doesn't feel well, you should go to the latrine." He Lianchen's face immediately turned red. He looked at Mu Lianfeng, then looked at Zhao Yuner, who was stifling her laughter. He wished he could find a hole to crawl into. Go quickly, it won't be good if you get it in your pants." Mu Lianfeng's tone carried a trace of teasing, causing He Lianchen's face to turn red. He didn't know what to say. However, Mu Lianfeng was right about one thing. If she continued to hold it in, it was likely that she would really defecate into her pants. Although it was a little embarrassing, compared to the pain he was in now, He Lianchen decided that it was better to go and take a dump. If it ended up in his pants, there was absolutely nothing more embarrassing than this. Who knew how Mu Lianfeng would laugh at him when he turned around? After thinking about it, He Lianchen hurriedly nodded and said, "Okay, but where is the latrine?" Zhao Yuner pointed to the back of the room and said, "It's behind. You'll see it when you go there." He Lianchen nodded heavily and rushed out of the room like the wind. It was not until He Lianchen rushed out and disappeared without a trace that Mu Lianfeng muttered, "Yuner, this is the result of suffering because of your pride." Zhao Yuner replied with a smile, "Exactly. Sigh, I already reminded him not to drink too much of this thing, but he just didn't listen." Chapter 14-17. Zhao Yun's tone was a little teasing and doting. Compared to He Lianchen, Mu Lianfeng was indeed much more obedient. Previously, when she said that he could not drink too much, Mu Lianfeng did not drink, unlike He Lianchen. He was very greedy, like a child. It would be strange if he did not have a stomachache after drinking so many bowls alone. Of course, how can I not listen to Yuner's words? That's why I said you're obedient. Zhao Yun suddenly thought of something and said to Mu Lianfeng, "Mu Lianfeng, He Lianchen didn't bring toilet paper." Mu Lianfeng was slightly stunned when he heard Zhao Yuner's words. He's a young master from a rich family. He definitely won't be used to using a wooden stick. Mu Lianfeng, you'd better send him some toilet paper. Mu Lianfeng hesitated and confirmed with Zhao Yuner, "Yun? Did I send him?" "Yes, if not you, who else would send him? Am I supposed to do it?" She was a woman, and He Lianchen was a man. It was definitely inappropriate for her to send him toilet paper. Mu Lianfeng suddenly remembered that this scene was very familiar. At that time, it was Zhao Yuner who sent him a finger, which made it very awkward. Thinking about it again, Zhao Yun was a woman. If she really sent it to He Lianchen and saw something that he should not have seen, the one who would be the most upset should be him. Mu Lianfeng hurriedly said, "Okay, I'll send him some toilet paper." But Zhao Yun responded. He Lianchen, who was in the latrine, was very sore from pooping. Fortunately, he took off his pants in time. If he was a step later, it would probably be in his pants. However, Mu Lianfeng, who was in pain for a moment, couldn't take it anymore when he saw the environment inside the latrine. Compared to his home, this was like heaven and earth. If it wasn't for the other discomfort, he definitely wouldn't be able to go to the toilet in this environment. Other than the bad environment, it was also very smelly. Xianxia could only pinch his nose to prevent himself from smelling this smell. Xianxia thought about how Mu Lianfeng, a young master, also had to use the toilet in this kind of environment every day. He couldn't help but sympathize with Mu Lianfeng. In order to be with Zhao Yuner, Mu Lianfeng had really given up a lot. He could even live such a bitter life and still felt happy every day. Perhaps everyone had their own aspirations, and everyone had their own preferred way of life. What kind of life Mu Lianfeng wanted was naturally not something she could decide. Xianxia thought as he squatted in the pit. After pulling out the thing in his stomach, he didn't feel that much pain. He felt a lot more comfortable and his body suddenly relaxed a lot. After a while, Mu Lianfeng came to the latrine and called out to Xianxia. Xianxia replied, "Ah Feng, why did you call me? You forgot to bring toilet paper. I brought some over for you." Mu Lianfeng explained. When Mu Lianfeng said this, Xianxia realized that he really didn't bring toilet paper. However, it wasn't that he forgot to bring toilet paper, but that he didn't have the habit of bringing toilet paper. These things were all prepared in his own latrine. When he went to the toilet, there was toilet paper inside, so he didn't have to specially bring it. He glanced at Zhao Yuner's latrine. It was so simple, so it was normal that there was no toilet paper inside. Seeing Mu Lianfeng in front of him, Xianxia called out to Mu Lianfeng, "Ah Feng, don't open the door. Just pass it to me like this." Chapter 14:18. When Mu Lianfeng saw Xianxia's outstretched hand, the corners of his lips curled up slightly. He knew that Xianxia was shy. He handed the paper in his hand to Xianxia and did not forget to tease him. "Ah Chen, we grew up together and are very familiar with each other's bodies. Don't tell me you're still shy in front of me and afraid that I'll see your butt." When Mu Lianfeng finished speaking, Xianxia's face reddened and he muttered to Mu Lianfeng, "Ah Feng, you can't compare like this. The past is the past and now is the present. We were still young in the past. Now that we're so old, don't you feel awkward and uncomfortable when you see each other's butts? We're two grown men." Actually, you can't say that. Chen, I know you're shy. Why is it that the way you speak is becoming more and more annoying?" Xianxia muttered. Did he have to let him see his butt? Xianxia shivered unconsciously when he thought about it. He felt strange in his heart. Then I'll leave first." Mu Lianfeng chuckled and left the latrine pit. The smell beside the latrine pit was a little strong and really made people feel uncomfortable. Xianxia pinched his nose and hurriedly settled the things in his stomach. If he stayed in this latrine pit for too long, his legs would not be able to hold on. After he was done, Xianxia got up from the latrine pit, picked up his pants, and walked out of the latrine pit. He breathed in the fresh air outside and instantly felt much better. Xianxia hurried to Zhao Yun's front yard. Zhao Yun scooped a ladle of water and washed Xianxia. After washing his hands, Xianxia went to Zhao Yun's room and sat down on the chair. His body was a little limp and it was much more comfortable sitting on the chair. Sitting on the chair, Xianxia heaved a few deep breaths. He felt like he had been reborn and it was extremely refreshing. Zhao Yun saw Xianxia like this and said with a smile, "Young Master Xian, Mu Lianfeng reminded you for your own good. Look, your stomach is hurting now, right?" Xianxia's face blushed slightly and said, "Yes," although he did not want to admit it. Xianxia had to admit it. He's a heartless person. No matter what others say, he won't listen. Mu Lianfeng sighed. Xianxia glared at Mu Lianfeng. "Ah Feng, don't talk to me. Really?" Mu Lianfeng knew that Lianxia was embarrassed, so he stopped talking. Xianxia rested for a while and did not stay at Zhao Yun's house to eat. Instead, he went back. Watching Xianxia leave, Mu Lianfeng smiled and joked with Zhao Yun. "Yun, you contributed a lot to him being like this today." Zhao Yun knew that Mu Lianfeng was referring to the matter of her feeding Xianxia's sour plum soup, so she smiled and replied, "That's right. He thinks that you're stingy. For the sake of your reputation, I have to help you explain it clearly." If he doesn't listen to this normal explanation, he will naturally know the result. He won't think that you're really stingy, right? Mu Lianfeng realized that he could not win against Zhao Yun, so he could only nod and say, yes, yes, yes. You're right. Next time, you don't have to say too much if others don't like to hear it. Instead, you won't end up well in the end. You can only let them suffer and they'll know. Chapter 1419. Zhao Yun, suddenly thought of what Helianchen said just now. Although he didn't say it directly, he was complaining that her latrine was too broken and dirty. Zhao Yun, could only make do with this current latrine for a while. Although she was indeed not used to using a dirty latrine, she didn't need to repair it. However, there was no need to repair the latrine pit now. After all, the latrine pit here wouldn't take long. Once her new house was built, she would have to fix the latrine in her house properly. After all, after this place was built, she would feel better if she could poop. If it was too dirty, she would feel abnormally uncomfortable every time she went to the toilet. As long as she could avoid going to the toilet, she wouldn't hold it in. Unfortunately, there was no flush toilet in this era. Basically, they used a large vat with 2 planks on it. How great would it be if I could get a flush toilet for my living room? Zhao Yun, thought about it and wondered if she could design one. There were actually quite a lot of skilled craftsmen in this era. As long as she designed a flush toilet, it wouldn't be difficult for them to make a flush toilet according to the discovery of firing ceramics. However, this flush toilet didn't seem to be easy to design. She had seen the principle and design drawings before, but it had been too long and she had forgotten a little. Zhao Yun, patted her head and tried hard to recall. Seeing that Zhao Yun, was thinking about something, Mu Lianfeng asked curiously, Yun, what are you thinking about? Zhao waved her hand and explained, nothing big. I'm just thinking about something. If I can make it, we'll be comfortable in the latrine in the future. If the feces could be discharged in time, there wouldn't be any smell in the latrine. After hearing Zhao Yun's words, Mu Lianfeng couldn't help but be curious about what Zhao Yun was thinking about. Zhao Yun had a lot of ideas, many of which she had never heard of before. This time, she might be able to come up with something novel again. Let me try, Zhao Yun said. She went to the table, took a pen and paper, and started to write and draw. Mu Lianfeng stood aside and didn't disturb Zhao Yun. She quietly watched Zhao Yun draw something. However, when she saw the thing on the paper in front of Zhao Yun, Mu Lianfeng couldn't understand it. She had never heard of what Zhao Yun drew, let alone recognize it. Moreover, this thing had a strange shape and was very strange. Zhao Yun frowned and pondered as she drew, as if she was recalling something. She couldn't stop muttering, no, this isn't right, this isn't right. Could it be like this? It doesn't seem right. What's the problem? Zhao Yun supported her chin with her hand and stared at the drawing paper in a daze. Mu Lianfeng quietly accompanied Zhao Yun and didn't speak. She was afraid that she would disturb Zhao Yun after she spoke. Seeing Zhao Yun in deep thought, that serious look of thinking was very cute. Zhao Yun suddenly thought of something and began to draw on the drawing paper again. After a while, a strange thing was drawn on the drawing paper, and there was a detailed composition. Mu Lianfeng glanced at it and asked, Yun, what are you drawing? A toilet bowl. A toilet bowl? Mu Lianfeng was very confused. He had never heard of this term. What's the use of it? Chapter 1420. Mu Lianfeng was obviously stunned, as if he still did not understand what Zhao Yun meant. Zhao Yun could only patiently explain. The flush toilet was indeed a great invention of the 21st century. In ancient times, even emperors could not enjoy it. After listening to Zhao Yun's explanation, Mu Lianfeng was very surprised that there was such a thing in the world. He had not seen it with his own eyes, so he could not imagine what it looked like. However, seeing Zhao Yun's excited look, it seemed like she was looking forward to it. Go back and ask the shop in town. Since porcelain can be made, this thing should be able to be made. Yes, yes. Go and try it. Mu Lianfeng replied. Zhao Yun touched her chin and fell silent. There was a flush toilet, but no running water. In this era, it would be difficult to get running water. Fortunately, even if there was no running water, they could just get a bucket in the toilet and scoop some water to flush it. Okay, I'll go to Yang City in 2 days if I have time. Okay. In the next few days, nothing troublesome happened. The days were very comfortable, and Mu Lianfeng also brought good news. The emperor had issued an edict to cancel Mu Lianfeng and Mu Rongshuang's engagement. At least in terms of marriage, the two of them did not have to worry anymore. The weather was getting hotter, and Zhao Yun'er's new clothes were almost ready. That afternoon, after she was done with her work, she cooked and sat in front of the bed. After asking Mu Lan for advice, she fumbled around and made 2 big underpants. Mu Lianfeng sat at the table and taught Daodu how to read. Zhao handed the big underpants to Mu Lianfeng and said to Mu Lianfeng, "Here, Mu Lianfeng, this underpants is for you. You can wear it when it's really hot." Mu Lianfeng took it. He had never seen this thing made by Zhao Yun'er before. With a puzzled expression, she asked Zhao Yun'er, "Yun'er, can this thing be worn?" "Of course you can." How cool was that? After taking a shower at night, he could just wear this pair of underwear. It's fine for you men to show your upper bodies, unlike us women. Mu Lianfeng was amused by Zhao Yun. What did he mean by it was fine to show his upper body? They were usually very conservative and had never seen a man with his upper body exposed. Seeing that Mu Lianfeng was laughing without explaining why he was laughing, Zhao Yun'er glared at Mu Lianfeng and asked, "What are you laughing at? What's so funny?" "Yun'er, it's nothing. If you make it for me personally, I will naturally wear it. But, when the time comes, will I sleep in a room alone, or will I sleep with you?" At first, Zhao Yun'er didn't understand what Mu Lianfeng meant by asking this question. After she reacted, she understood. Mu Lianfeng was hinting that if he only wore a pair of underwear and didn't wear any clothes on his upper body, she would see it. Zhao Yun'er blushed slightly. "Before we get married, you will naturally have a room to yourself, and Daodu and I will share a room." Mu Lianfeng regretted asking. If he didn't ask and shamelessly slept with Zhao Yun'er, it would be quite good. "Mother, father has new clothes. Does Daodu have any?" Daodu put down his pen and looked at Zhao Yun'er expectantly. "Of course. Others may not have any, but Daodu will definitely have some." Chapter 1421. But Daodu's clothes aren't ready yet. You'll have to wait a few days. "It's okay, mother. As long as Daodu has it, it's fine. Daodu is so obedient." The reason why Daodu's clothes had to wait a few days was because Zhao Yun wasn't the one making them herself. She didn't dare to compliment her handiwork. Mu Lianfeng's underwear was very simple and rough, so it was okay to wear it. Daodu's clothes, on the other hand, had to be sewn properly. Zhao Yun didn't trouble Liang Jinxiao, so Mu Lan took on this task. Mu Lan's needlework was good, so she thought that Daodu's new clothes would be very good. Mu Lianfeng was very curious about the underwear made by Zhao Yun, so he held it in his hands and studied it. When Zhao Yun saw this, she quickly snatched the underwear back from Mu Lianfeng's hands. Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yun with some confusion. "Ying, isn't this for me?" "Yes, it's for you. But why are you staring at it like that?" "Because I think that Yun'er's clothes are very novel. I've never seen it before, so I'm curious." "The weather isn't hot yet. I'll help you keep it first. When it gets hot, I'll take it out for you to wear." With that, Zhao Yun quickly stuffed the 2 pairs of underwear into the cabinet. Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yun'er's reaction and felt puzzled, but at the same time, he couldn't help but laugh. When he saw Zhao Yun'er's red cheeks, Mu Lianfeng seemed to understand something. Is Zhao Yun'er shy? Is it because of the underwear? Just as Zhao Yun'er was feeling embarrassed, Li Chuang's voice suddenly came from outside. Yun'er girl, Zhao Yun'er was puzzled. Why did Li Chuang come looking for her? The two of them had nothing to do with each other, and she had never seen Li Chuang come over before. However, in Zhao Yun'er's impression, wherever Li Chuang appeared, nothing good would happen. She wondered if he was here to cause trouble again. Therefore, when Zhao Yun'er went out, she frowned and looked a little unhappy. When she arrived in front of Li Chuang, she said unhappily to Li Chuang, "Second aunt, why did you come looking for me today?" Zhao Yun'er's attitude wasn't very good, but Li Chuang wasn't angry. Instead, he smiled at Zhao Yun'er and said to Zhao Yun'er, "Yun'er girl, second aunt didn't come looking for you for anything important. I just wanted to give you something." As Li Chuang spoke, he handed over a vegetable basket in his hand. Zhao Yun'er's face was full of confusion. She didn't know what Li Chuang meant. There were 10 eggs in the basket. "Second aunt, what are you doing?" "Yun'er girl, these 10 eggs are for you. You and your mother have helped our family a lot. We don't have anything good, so we just sent a few eggs over," Li Chuang explained. Zhao Yun'er was even more shocked. Did she hear wrongly? Did these words come out of Li Chuang's mouth? If it had come out of someone else's mouth, she would have believed it. However, when it came out of Li Chuang's mouth, she found it a little hard to believe. Looking at Li Chuang in front of her, he didn't have his usual arrogance. Instead, she felt a sense of familiarity. Zhao Yun'er suddenly felt that the world had changed. Li Chuang was usually such a disgusting person, but he could change his personality and become a good person. Chapter 1422. Zhao Yun'er was stunned for a while before she asked in disbelief, "Auntie, are you sure? Are you really giving this to me?" Li Chuang thought that Zhao Yun'er was making a fuss over nothing. "Of course. Who else would I give it to if not you?" "No. Auntie." Li Chuang seemed to have guessed what Zhao Yun'er was thinking and said apologetically, "Hey, Yun'er, I didn't do well in the past. I went overboard with some things. I won't do it again in the future. Now I know in my heart that whoever is good to me, of course, I will be good to that person in the future. You're a good child. I let you down in the past. Take these 10 eggs as second aunt's compensation to you. It's a pity that I don't have anything good at home, so I can only give you these." Zhao Yun'er was still in shock and couldn't react. Was this a joke? How did the world change so suddenly? Li Chuang's sudden realization caught her off guard. Was he faking it? Looking at Li Chuang's sincere gaze, it didn't seem like he was faking it. "This is really strange. All right, Yun'er, Auntie still has work to do when I get back. Just accept the gift." With that, Li Chuang turned and left. She looked at Li Chuang's back as he left and then looked at the eggs in her hand. She was still in a daze and felt like she was in a dream. "Yun'er, what's wrong?" Mu Lianfeng saw Zhao Yun'er's dazed expression and thought that something had happened. He also saw Li Chuang coming over. Usually, Li Chuang liked to cause trouble when he came over. Could it be that he said something that upset Zhao Yun'er? No. Nothing. Zhao Yun'er forced a smile and replied with a smile. "What did Auntie Li do?" "No. Nothing." "Then what are you?" "Mu Lianfeng, I feel that my second aunt has suddenly changed." "Changed?" Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yun'er in confusion. "What do you think can make a person's temperament change so drastically?" Zhao Yun'er touched her chin and muttered. Mu Lianfeng pondered for a while and said to Zhao Yun'er, "Generally speaking, when a person's temperament changes drastically, something must have happened. It could be some difficulties or something." "Difficulties?" Zhao Yun'er muttered a sentence in her mouth. What kind of difficulties did her second aunt encounter these days? Thinking about it, he didn't hear anything big happened. Otherwise, he would definitely know. After all, they were so far away from each other. How could she not know what was going on in old Zhao's house? Except for the incident where Li Chuang fell into the manure pit. Could it be that Li Chuang's temperament changed drastically because of this? At this thought, Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but want to laugh. This was really a difficult situation. If Li Chuang's temperament really changed drastically because of this, it would be quite funny. This was the first time she had heard of it. It was unheard of. If someone was cured because of this, would he just stuff that person into the manure pit when he saw that they were incurable? Seeing Zhao Yun'er clutching her stomach and laughing, Mu Lianfeng was puzzled. Wasn't she in a daze just now? Why did she suddenly start laughing? What was so funny? He didn't say anything. Chapter 1423. I was thinking that everyone's difficulties and hardships are different. My second aunt. Her hardships are a little funny, but it's a good thing that people can change. Old Zhao's family finally has one less troublemaker. Mu Lianfeng was silent for a moment, then the corners of his mouth twitched and he chuckled softly. Zhao Yuner and Mu Lianfeng looked at each other. Just as they were about to return to the kitchen and put down the eggs, they saw another figure walking towards them. It was Zhao Ping'er. Li Chuang had just left, and now Zhao Ping'er was behind her. Zhao Yuner's first reaction was to wonder if Zhao Ping'er had suddenly changed like Li Chuang. Sister Ping, how come you have time to come here today? What's the matter? Zhao Yuner asked indifferently. Zhao Ping'er bit her lower lip. If she wasn't forced to, why would she come to Zhao Yuner and pay attention to Zhao Yuner's mood? Seeing Zhao Yuner's stiff face, Zhao Ping'er forced a smile and said, Sister Yuner, I came here because I need you to do me a favor. Zhao Yuner chuckled. Me? Sister Ping'er, what's the matter that you can't do on your own? Why do you need me to come over and help? Zhao Ping'er nodded heavily. That's right, Sister Yuner. Other than you, no one else can help me. Zhao Yuner didn't reply and only laughed dryly. Sister Yuner, can you help me? Seeing Zhao Ping'er's expectant gaze, Zhao Yuner coldly refused. Help you? Why should I help you? Do I have an obligation to help you? After being rebuked by Zhao Yun, Zhao Ping'er's face turned ugly. She had already spoken so nicely to Zhao Yuner. Why wouldn't Zhao Yuner help her? After all, she was her biological sister, right? Zhao Yuner, you can't not help me. Zhao Ping'er couldn't help but blurt out. Why can't we help? Ping'er, this is the first time I've heard of someone asking for help in such a tone. Even if I don't help you, what can you do about it? Zhao Ping'er's eyes reddened. Indeed, she couldn't do anything to Zhao Yun. But if Zhao Yun didn't help her, then she would be finished. Sister Yuner, I came here personally to beg you. Zhao Ping'er hid the displeasure on her face and said to Zhao Yuner with an ugly smile. Zhao Yuner mercilessly retorted, Sister Ping, what are you saying? You came here to beg me for help. If you didn't come here personally, did you want someone else to do it for you? Sister Yuner. Zhao Ping'er was speechless for a moment. If it were any other time, she would have turned around and left already. Why would she be annoyed in front of Zhao Yuner? Now that she was forced into a corner, she swallowed her anger and continued, Sister Yuner, please help me. I won't help you. Sister Yuner, you haven't heard what I said. It's not difficult for you to help me. Sister Yuner, if you don't help me, then I'm finished. For the sake of us sisters, you can't let me die, right? Zhao Yuner frowned. If she didn't help Zhao Ping'er, would Zhao Ping'er die? It shouldn't be that serious, right? Chapter 1424. At the thought of this, Zhao Ping'er's heart felt a little stifled. She had thought that she was doing well and that business would slowly improve after a few more days. However, she had imagined the reality to be too perfect, and there were still not many people coming. She only earned a few dozen copper coins a day. She did not know when she would be able to recover the money she had invested. She was not very anxious, but Mu Chunfang was very anxious. Every day, she would come back and nag at him. If she did not earn much money, she would be scolded badly. If this continued, she did not know what would happen. In addition, Qin Yuan had been good to her, but in the past 2 days, his attitude had gradually cooled and he ignored her. In addition, Ma Xiaofeng had urged her to come and beg Zhao Yun. Zhao Ping had no choice but to come over. Zhao Yun looked at Zhao Ping. She did not know where Zhao Ping got the nerve to say such things. Sister Ping, this is my way of earning money. Who knows when I will set up a stall to sell breakfast again? If I teach you, what should I do in the future? Zhao Ping frowned and said, Sister Yun, you have many ways to earn money. You will definitely not rely on selling breakfast to earn money in the future. Zhao Yun snorted softly. How do you know that I won't? Of course not, Sister Yun. You will earn big money in the future. You will definitely not be interested in this small amount of money. Even if that is the case, why should I teach you my way of earning money? Because we are blood-related sisters. We came from the same mother's womb. Blood-related siblings should help each other. Sister Ping, even blood-related siblings should settle accounts clearly. Who said that we should help each other? If there is no benefit at all, I will not do this kind of business. Zhao Yun rubbed her chin as she spoke. Actually, Zhao Ping was right. She would not set up a breakfast stall again. Waking up early every day was too tiring. Most importantly, if he was busy with these things, he wouldn't have so much time to accompany Mu Lianfeng and Daodu. Unless they couldn't survive, some of them neglected their children in order to earn money. Daodu was at the age where he needed someone to accompany him, and parents needed to stay by his side. It was more beneficial for the child's growth. In addition, now that she had found a more profitable and easier way to earn money, there was no need for her to go out and make a fuss. Even if she didn't need to set up a stall to make money, Zhao Yun still didn't want to let Zhao Ping take advantage of her. After listening to Zhao Yun's words, Zhao Ping was silent for a moment. She understood what Zhao Yun meant. Yun, how about this? Teach me the recipe. If I make money, I'll give you 2 cents. That way you can earn more. That's why you don't have to work. It's a free trip. You don't lose anything. As Zhao Ping spoke, she stared at Zhao Yun expectantly. Zhao Yun thought about it. She could sit at home and take money for free while Zhao Ping and the others worked hard. That was fine. However, Zhao Yun still shook her head. Sister Ping, I'll only get 2 cents? Isn't that too little? Yun, it's not little. I'll pay for the costs and do the work. I'll give you 2 cents of the net profits. Xiaofeng and I still have to split the rest. Zhao Ping muttered. Zhao Yun curled her lips. That's too little. Then what do you want? How much do you want? Can I give you 30%? Zhao Yun shook her head. Chapter 1425. Zhao Yun was too greedy. How much did she want? Little sister Yun, how about I give you 40%? I've already split the remaining 60% with Xiaofeng. Each of us only gets 30%, which is less than you. You can't ask for too much, right? Zhao Yun smiled and said, How much do you think I want? You don't have to beg me. I'm not forcing you. This sentence made Zhao Ping unable to argue. Indeed, Zhao Yun didn't ask her to share the profits. She was the one who suggested it. At the same time, she was still begging her. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to run her stall in the future. Little sister Yun, then tell me how much do you want? If I think it's okay, I'll naturally agree. Seeing that Zhao Ping had spoken, Zhao Yun didn't stand on ceremony. If you really want me to help you, we're in a cooperative relationship. I'll provide the prescription and you'll do the work. With my prescription, you can only do business. So, I'll get a little more. I'll get 60% and you'll get 40%. If you think it's okay, I'll teach you now. If not, then do as you please. When she heard that Zhao Yun wanted 60% and she only got 40%, Zhao Ping immediately exploded. Zhao Yun, you're too black-hearted. You get 60% and I only get 40%. After I split it with Xiaofeng, that means I only get 20%. How much more money can I make? Isn't it obvious that I'm at a disadvantage? Zhao Ping felt that she would only agree to this kind of obvious disadvantage unless she was stupid. She had invested in everything in this stall. Why should she get so little? She had worked so hard. Wouldn't she be helping Zhao Yun earn all the money? Other than coming up with a prescription, Zhao Yun just sat at home and counted the money. There was simply no better deal than this. Zhao Yun chuckled and calculated the accounts with Zhao Ping. Sister Ping, when you say that we're at a disadvantage, we really aren't at a disadvantage. I make breakfast and the customers like it. With so many people coming, business is good. According to my previous business, I earn 1 or 2 taels of silver a day. Even if you only get 20%, that's at least 200 copper coins a day. That's 6 taels of silver a month. Isn't that a lot? If he had bought a better one, it would have cost more than that. Whether it's worth it or not, you have to weigh it in your heart. After listening to Zhao Yun'er's calculations, Zhao Ping'er understood that she could earn a lot more if she cooperated with Zhao Yun. 30 to 40 copper coins a day was simply impossible. But you can't get 60%? How about we split it 50-50? Zhao Ping'er couldn't bear to part with the money and continued to discuss with Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun'er's face suddenly darkened. Sister Ping, or, since you don't want to cooperate, then forget it. Let's go. I still have things to do. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er didn't relent, Zhao Ping'er's chest was blocked by a lump of anger. Then I'll go and discuss with Xiao Feng first and ask her what she thinks. Zhao Ping'er made a concession and said to Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er nodded. Okay. You go and ask. Zhao Ping'er said and trotted in the direction of Ma Xiaofeng's house. Zhao Yun'er turned around and happened to meet Mu Lianfeng's eyes. Seeing Mu Lianfeng staring at her, Zhao Yun'er asked, Why are you looking at me? Mu Lianfeng shook his head. Nothing. I just feel that Yun'er, it seems that no one can take advantage of you. Chapter 1426. For example, this time, Zhao Ping'er wanted to ask her for help. It wasn't that she didn't agree, but she had to take some of Zhao Ping'er's money. She didn't do anything and took 60% of it. Naturally, it was enough to make Zhao Ping'er feel the pinch. Looking at Zhao Ping'er's pained expression, it was obvious. However, Mu Lianfeng suddenly revealed a strange smile. Zhao Yun'er's heart trembled violently. She felt that Mu Lianfeng was up to no good. Sure enough, Mu Lianfeng suddenly put his arm around Zhao Yun'er's waist and kissed Zhao Yun'er on the lips. Zhao Yun'er was stunned. She saw Mu Lianfeng quickly kiss her on the lips. After the kiss, he let go of her as if he was savoring the aftertaste. He said with a teasing tone, Yun'er, did I take advantage of you now? Will you ask for it back with double the price? Zhao Yun'er blushed. When she met Mu Lianfeng's calculating eyes, she glared at Mu Lianfeng. This guy, dream on. I won't. Mu Lianfeng asked teasingly. I'll be at a disadvantage if I ask for it back. However, you made a move on me in broad daylight. I still have to punish you properly. How will I punish you? Tonight, you'll sleep on the floor alone. Don't get on my bed. When Mu Lianfeng heard this, his expression changed slightly. He started to regret it. Now, his wife had suffered a setback. His plan didn't work out. Instead, he was kicked off the bed by Zhao Yun. Originally, Mu Lianfeng wanted to coax Zhao Yun'er, but when he met Zhao Yun'er's stubborn little face, he knew that Zhao Yun'er was serious. She could only nod and agree with Zhao Yun'er. Okay, Yun'er, I'll sleep under the bed tonight. On the other hand, Zhao Ping'er ran to Ma Xiaofeng's house. Ma Xiaofeng was still serving Qian Chuanxiu. This time, Qian Chuanxiu's vitality was greatly damaged, much more seriously than Zhao Wenshui's. After a few days of recuperation and application of ointment, Zhao Wenshui's injury on his buttocks had improved a lot. If he was careful, he could even get out of bed and move around. Qian Chuanxiu was not as lucky as Zhao Wenshui. After a few days of recuperation, not only did his condition not improve, it even worsened. The buttocks that had been spanked began to swell and even began to fester. There were signs of ulceration. Qian Chuanxiu, on the other hand, was lying on the bed, looking half dead. Ma Xiaofeng was also very anxious these days. No matter what, Qian Chuanxiu was her mother. Other than her younger brother, Qian Chuanxiu was her only family. She was not married yet, so nothing could happen to Qian Chuanxiu. But now, she had no money and no other way to cure Qian Chuanxiu. Last time, all the money at home was used to sell a bottle of ointment. Now, the family could not take out any money. If it were not for the fact that she and Zhao Ping'er set up a stall together and had an income every day, she was afraid that even eating would be a problem. Mother, let me wipe your buttocks. Ma Xiaofeng brought over a basin of water and placed it in front of Qian Chuanxiu. Qian Chuanxiu responded. She knew how badly her buttocks were injured. Every day, she was in so much pain that she almost could not bear it anymore. If this continued, she was afraid that she would really lose her life. Ma Xiaofeng took a cloth and gently wiped Qian Chuanxiu's buttocks. Seeing that the injury on Qian Chuanxiu's buttocks was getting more and more serious, she could not help but sigh heavily. Xiaofeng, what's wrong? Qian Chuanxiu asked in a weak voice. Chapter 1427. Mother, the injury on your butt is getting more and more serious. What should we do? AI, there's nothing we can do. We don't have any money. We can't hire a doctor or buy medicine. Qian Chuanxiu said helplessly. Mother, this injury can't be delayed any longer. Otherwise, who knows what problems will arise. Xiaofeng, what should we do? There's nothing we can do. Ma Xiaofeng frowned and thought for a moment. They didn't even have anything valuable at home. There was no way they could take out money to treat Qian Chuanxiu's injury. With the severity of Qian Chuanxiu's injury, without a few taels of silver, it couldn't be treated. And a few taels of silver was a huge income. Their family couldn't take it out. Originally, Ma Xiaofeng was looking forward to setting up a stall with Zhao Ping to earn more money to treat her mother's illness. Now, she knew that she was just thinking too much. The business of the stall didn't improve. They earned 30 to 40 copper coins a day. They could only save a few taels of silver after a few months. This was under the condition that they didn't spend anything. After a few months, she didn't know if her mother's life would be saved. Mother, why don't you sell me? If you sell me, you can get a lot of money to treat your injury. Ma Xiaofeng suddenly had this idea. When Qian Chuanxiu heard it, she immediately reprimanded angrily. Xiaofeng, what are you saying? Even if I die, I won't sell you. Besides being angry, Qian Chuanxiu was also touched. This showed that her daughter loved her dearly and was filial to her. Otherwise, she wouldn't say these words. But mother, if you don't sell me, what will you do? We can't borrow money, and we can't get it. Are we just going to stay here and let your injury worsen? AI. Xiaofeng, mother is fine. Maybe I'll be fine after enduring for a while. But I've endured for these few days. If I recovered, I would have recovered long ago. Xiaofeng, don't think so much. Take one step at a time. If I really can't recover, that's my fate. Seeing Qian Chuanxiu's insistence, Ma Xiaofeng wiped her tears again. She still had to think of another way. At this moment, Zhao Pinger's voice came from outside. Little Feng, little Feng. Little Feng. Ma Xiaofeng put the towel into the basin and wiped the tears from her eyes before leaving the house. She asked Zhao Ping, Sister Ping, what's wrong? Did something happen? Xiaofeng, didn't you ask me to beg Zhao Yuner? I did, but Xiaofeng, what's wrong, Sister Ping? Xiaofeng. Although she agreed, she said that we'll give her 60% of the money we earn and we'll get 40%. Hearing Zhao Pinger's words, Ma Xiaofeng couldn't remain calm. What? Sister Pinger, she asked for 60%? Zhao Pinger sighed and said, yeah, she insisted on 60%. No matter what, she wouldn't agree to give us less. Ma Xiaofeng's expression was uncertain. Without Zhao Yuner's idea, their business probably wouldn't be good. Although it wasn't a small amount, it was still a lot less than what she expected. Ma Xiaofeng couldn't help but scold. 60%? Isn't she clearly robbing us? We worked ourselves to death and got 40%, but she didn't do anything and got 60%? How is that possible? Pinger said. Isn't she too much? Chapter 1428. She just doesn't want to help. That's why she's deliberately making things difficult for us. If she really wanted to help, she wouldn't be like this. Then Xiaofeng, should we agree or not? If we agree, we'll give her 60%. If we don't agree, we have no other choice. After hearing Zhao Pinger's words, Ma Xiaofeng was somewhat unwilling. Sister Ping, what can we do? There's no way at all. If we continue like this, we'll only earn a few dozen copper coins a day. I'm afraid that the business won't be good. So Xiaofeng, we have to find her to cooperate. If we cooperate, even if we get 20%, we'll still earn a few hundred copper coins a day. It's much better than what we're earning now. I just want to give most of the money to Zhao Yun, So I'm unwilling. Zhao Ping muttered. Hearing Zhao Ping's words, Ma Xiaofeng's heart was even more tangled. On one hand, she was unwilling to give so much to Zhao Yun. On the other hand, she didn't want to only earn a few dozen copper coins a day. Sister Ping, why don't we pretend to agree? When we learn how to make breakfast later, we'll regret it. Even if she wants to make trouble, it won't work. Ma Xiaofeng's eyes turned as she calculated. Hearing Ma Xiaofeng's words, Zhao Ping nodded excitedly. Xiaofeng, you're right. This idea is really good. We can pretend to agree first and then regret it later. Why is my brain so inflexible? I didn't think of it. Xiaofeng, you're still the smart one. Ma Xiaofeng curled her lips and snorted coldly in her heart. With her intelligence, how could Zhao Ping compare? Sister Ping, then go and agree with her. N. Zhao Ping ran in the direction of Zhao Yun's house. Now that she knew that she could earn more money, Ma Xiaofeng was relieved. As long as she saved enough money, her mother's but would be saved. Zhao Ping eagerly went to Zhao Yun's house and called out to Zhao Yun. Little sister Yun, Sister Ping, have you thought it through? Zhao Yun saw Zhao Ping coming over and smiled. Zhao Ping nodded heavily. Little sister Yun, let's do as you say. You get 60% and we get 40%. Now you can tell me how to make breakfast, right? Zhao Yun said unhurriedly. What's the hurry? There's no proof. We have to make a written agreement now. We have to write down our agreement clearly in black and white. Otherwise, what if you go back on your words? Zhao Ping was stunned when she heard the written agreement. She didn't expect to need a written agreement, but Zhao Yun actually brought it up and thought of it. It was easy to go back on your words without a written agreement, but it was difficult to go back on your words after making a written agreement. This Zhao Yun was really good at scheming. Seeing Zhao Ping's pale face, Zhao Yun could almost guess. Zhao Ping and Ma Xiaofeng probably said that they would go back on their words when they discussed it. Zhao Yun had guessed the two people's little schemes clearly. Naturally, he wouldn't give them a chance to succeed. Sister Ping, what's the matter? Can't it work? If it doesn't work, then let's forget about it? Zhao Yun sneered and said, after all, there's no written agreement. In the future, it won't be clear, and it'll be troublesome if something happens. If you're sincere about cooperating, it won't be difficult to make a written agreement, right? Chapter 1429. I don't know if I'm shameless or not, but Big Sister Ping, if you sign a contract, you definitely won't be shameless in the future. Zhao Ping panicked and didn't know what to do. What's wrong? Big Sister Ping? You don't want to sign a contract. Are you thinking of being shameless in the future? Meeting Zhao Yun's eyes, Zhao Ping's expression stiffened. After trying hard to pull the corners of her mouth, she said, Of course not. Zhao Yun chuckled and said, that's good. Then, Big Sister Ping, let's sign a contract now. Big Sister Yun, there's no need to go through so much trouble, right? Zhao Ping smiled embarrassedly and pulled out an ugly smile. It's not troublesome. It's just writing a few words. Big Sister Yun, seeing Zhao Ping dilly-dallying, Zhao Yun couldn't help but sneer. Big Sister Ping, why are you hesitating? Do you want to sign a contract or not? Say it. If you don't, then let's forget about it. I don't want to have any disputes in the future. Also, Big Sister Ping, you're obviously not sincere. Naturally, there's no need for us to cooperate. Zhao Ping bit her lower lip. She was speechless at Zhao Yun's words. This B*Teach was forcing her to sign a contract. Great, now how could she go back on her word? Should she go and discuss it with Ma Xiaofeng again? Big Sister Ping, have you thought it through? I don't have that much time to waste with you. I'll say the ugly words first. If you don't agree to sign a contract now, don't look for me for this matter later. I don't have the leisure to play with you. Zhao Ping made up her mind and stomped her foot. I'll sign a contract with you. Zhao was forced to do this. If she went to ask Ma Xiaofeng again, Zhao Yun wouldn't give her the chance. If she really couldn't go back on her word in the future, she would give Zhao Yun 60% of the income, and that was what she earned. The corner of Zhao Yun's mouth slightly raised. Seeing that Zhao Ping was tricked by her, she was very satisfied. In the end, when it came to scheming, Zhao Pinger was still inexperienced in front of her. After getting Zhao Pinger's nod of agreement, Zhao Yun turned around and went into the house to take a piece of paper. She dipped the brush in ink and wrote a few lines after a while, agreeing on the future profit sharing. When the brush landed, there were a few lines of delicate and pretty words on the paper. Mu Lianfeng watched from the side. When he saw Zhao Yun's handwriting, he sighed in his heart. Yun's handwriting was really beautiful and had a unique style. He admired Zhao Yun even more. After writing, Zhao Yun put away the brush and greeted Zhao Ping. Big sister Ping, come over and sign your name. Zhao Ping frowned and walked over. When she saw the few lines on the paper, she muttered in her heart. Little sister Yun, how do you know how to write? In addition to being surprised, Zhao Ping was also a little jealous. One had to know that it was very rare to see a woman who could write in the entire village. This was because the people in the village were very poor. Not to mention women, there were very few men who could read. Many families couldn't produce a scholar. Old Zhao's family could be considered relatively wealthy in the village. Otherwise, they wouldn't have produced 2 scholars. Therefore, old Zhao's family more or less had some status in the village. But, don't I know how to read? Zhao Yun asked with a smile. Chapter 1430. Zhao Yun made up an excuse. I learned it from fifth uncle. What's the big deal about it? It's your fault for not learning from fifth uncle. You don't even know how good the resources are around you. Zhao Ping glared at Zhao Yun. Although she didn't say it, Zhao Ping felt a little upset. Why was she so stupid? Zhao Yun knew to learn from her fifth uncle, but why didn't she know? If she could also read, then she would naturally be different from ordinary women. As the saying goes, one's talent comes from being educated. If Qin Yuan knew that she could read, their attitude towards her would naturally be different. However, it was useless for Zhao Ping to be upset now. Some things were missed. Zhao Ping snorted and said to Zhao Yun, so what if you can read? It's not a big deal. Zhao Yun curled her lips and didn't argue with Zhao Ping. Okay, Sister Ping, hurry up and sign your name. Zhao Ping muttered, Zhao Yun, are you doing this on purpose? You know that I can't read, so how do you know how to sign your name? Sister Ping, although I know that you can't read, you can't even write your own name? Zhao Yun was really surprised. After all, illiterates in the 21st century could basically write their own names even if they couldn't read. It wasn't as if old Zhao's family didn't have a scholar. Could it be that he didn't teach Zhao Pinger? Or was it that Zhao Pinger was too lazy and didn't learn at all? Sister Ping, since you can't write your own name, then put your thumbprint. With that said, Zhao Yun took the ink pad and handed it to Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping hesitated for a moment, but in the end, she still pressed her thumbprint. Zhao Yun wrote a total of 2 contracts. Both of them signed their names. One was given to Zhao Ping, and the other was kept by herself. After waiting for the contract to be signed, Zhao Ping muttered, Sister Yun, now that the contract is signed, can you teach me how to make breakfast? Zhao Yun chuckled and said, sure. But that's good. Zhao Yun had prepared some meat at home. After cutting half a gene, she began to teach Zhao Ping how to make it. Zhao Pinger looked at it and muttered in her heart. It wasn't any different from what Liang Jinxiao taught. Why was the taste different? Sister Ping, what are you thinking about? Look carefully. I don't have that many ingredients to teach you a second time. Zhao Yun saw that Zhao Ping was in a daze, so she quickly reminded her. She didn't know what Zhao Ping was thinking at this time. Zhao Ping came back to her senses. However, she was still thinking in her heart. Since what she did was right, what exactly went wrong? After the stuffing was ready, Zhao Yun took out a packet of something. Zhao Ping couldn't recognize what it was. She saw Zhao Yun made some of this powdery stuff and mixed it into the stuffing, then said to her, Sister Ping, this is enough. Have you learned it? Zhao Ping frowned. She knew the other steps. They were no different from what Liang Jinxiao had taught her. However, she didn't know what was added to the last step. She guessed that the breakfast made by her and Ma Xiaofeng was so different from the breakfast made by Zhao Yun because of this last addition. But what exactly was this thing? Chapter 1431. Zhao Yun's lips curled into a mysterious smile. Zhao Ping had never seen such a thing before. She was afraid that such a thing didn't exist in this era. Zhao Yun didn't add anything else but fresh mushrooms picked from the mountains. These mushrooms were dried and ground into powder. In this era, there was only table salt and other simple seasonings. There was no such thing as monosodium glutamate or chicken essence to improve the taste. The powder made from these mushrooms had the effect of improving the taste of the ingredients when added to them. Therefore, it had a delicious taste when eaten. In the breakfast made by Zhao Ping and Ma Xiaofeng, it was precisely because it lacked the powder made from the mushrooms that it lacked the freshness. Therefore, the taste of the snacks made couldn't be compared to Zhao Yun's. Zhao Yun naturally wouldn't tell Zhao Ping so easily. Instead, she faintly replied, Sister Ping, this is my secret recipe. In the future, when you sell out, I'll give you more. However, I can't tell you how to make this thing. Zhao Yun had a bottom line when doing things. After all, she didn't trust Zhao Ping. Speaking of which, Ma Xiaofeng was even more suspicious. Ma Xiaofeng was a scheming person. Who knew if she would provoke Zhao Ping to turn around and not give her a share of the money. Once Zhao Ping went back on her word, she would no longer provide Zhao Ping with the powder made from the mushrooms. Without the fresh taste, Zhao Ping's business would be the same as before. Zhao Ping stared at Zhao Yun. This little B***Tsich was really scheming. She even deliberately guarded against her. Now that there was a written agreement and Zhao Yun's secret recipe, she had no choice but to give Zhao Yun a share of the money later. Zhao Yun, in any case, I'm your sister. Why are you guarding against me? Zhao Ping complained with dissatisfaction. She had a lot of opinions about Zhao Yun's actions. Zhao Yun faintly said, Sister Ping, it's not that I'm guarding against you, but you have to be careful. Don't do business with Ma Xiaofeng. You'll be cheated by her. Do you really think she's so easy to deal with? From the beginning to the end, it's only profits. Only someone like you would happily bring her along to earn money. Zhao Yun's words made Zhao Ping very uncomfortable. She angrily glared at Zhao Yun and said, Don't try to drive a wedge between me and Xiaofeng. I won't listen. It's fine if you don't listen. I won't be the one to lose. Sister Ping, you're on your own. I'm too lazy to talk to you. It just so happens that I'm also too lazy to talk to you. Since Sister Ping has learned it now, take the things and leave. Zhao Yun said as she handed Zhao Ping a bag of powder made from mushrooms. After Zhao Ping got it, she angrily turned around and left Zhao Yun's house. She took the things and turned to Ma Xiaofeng's house. After arriving at Ma Xiaofeng's house, Zhao Ping told Ma Xiaofeng what happened. Ma Xiaofeng's face darkened. She didn't expect Zhao Yun to have so many tricks up her sleeve. All her evil intentions didn't work on Zhao Yun. Now there was no other way. She could only take one step at a time. It was fine as long as she could earn more money than now. Sister Ping, let's do this. Let's try the taste and see if it's different after adding this. Zhao Ping nodded heavily. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.